Hello and welcome back to Blood and Ashes. This is episode 113, where we will cover Knife of Dreams, chapters 23 through 25. I'm your host Mo, and I'm joined once more by my indomitable friends, Willie.
I don't even know what that means.
And Jody.
Hello and welcome back. I suppose for the people listening to recordings, it's just been a couple of hours since you've listened to our last podcast, right? But for us, it's been...
Minutes.
No, for us, it's been years, it seems.
Yeah, it was a bit of a break.
Yeah. Mars has got a beard and everything. It's incredible how much he's changed. And Billy looks great. We were just saying how great Billy looks.
What's happening?
I'm so flattered.
Normally looks like shit.
She's stealing
No, he
my
looks
vitality.
like handsome. His
I've
skin is
just
glowing.
That's it must be the chicken. I don't know.
Yeah, those kangaroo
something
bones.
in the air. What else have I been doing? Oh, I've been fishing, which is always good for my health and prosperity and all of those things.
And that
Catch
truck
much?
job.
Yeah, did catch. Yeah, I've been unemployed as well now. For those who care.
Unemployment suits
2
you, my
months
friend.
without working
Took the words out of my mouth.
does well for my aura.
It's
But yes,
your
it
natural
doesn't do well
state.
for my bank account though. That's
Yeah.
No,
That's,
but you seem stress-free.
Mm.
yeah, well, it's underlying. You know, sometimes the river looks calm, but when you fall into it, you get swept underneath.
Strong
and
currents
drown.
down there.
Mm.
Ooh, okay, before this turns into a therapy podcast, let's talk about something more frivolous. Vil, you said you don't know what indomitable means. Originally I had written down indomitable,
That's
and
a
I was like,
snowman?
wait, that's not it.
That's a Yeti. We are back on
that's
Bigfoot.
abominable.
Look at this. This
Where
is
it
a
is
sign.
It's a sign.
Can't get past the intro.
Bigfoot therapy podcast incoming.
But those people, I mean, just like Willy, there is a character that is indomitable in these chapters that we're going to cover in this episode, and I think it's probably needless to say that I have been looking forward to this very specific chapter for a long, long time.
This
I was
is
thinking, which character?
And I just still don't know what the meaning of the word is, but I know what chapter you're talking about, and I know how
Can't be
we.
kept down, you know, not able to be dominated.
That's much like Yeti.
Abominably dominated.
Yes. I am just not stoked that it's not a big chunk of chapters of it. It's just, why must it be so short?
Surprising, isn't it? I mean, we'll get into it when we get to the chapter.
I think just the
Totally.
absorption of it back then. It's like, wow, this is just like high fives every sentence.
Totally. And I think this is becoming a bit of like a running theme, is us, you know, maybe having an idea of how many chapters something is going to last for, and then we read it and we're like, oh, we've just gone straight through this. Thanks, RJ. Actually, you don't, you know, go on and on and on as much as what people give you shit for. Like, you're getting through some stuff. Some cool stuff. Jody looks unconvinced.
I've read ahead of you guys. You finished the book, hey, Moritz?
Yeah.
Billy?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just lagging behind. All right. So yeah, Perrin has saved Fael where I am, and then I'm into Elaine already, going like, yeah, let's go kick some ass, go get some Black Sisters. So
there's still so much cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're hinting at it now, right? I'm sort of like in my intro focused on Egwene and sort of like what her chapter means for me in this episode. But there's cool stuff happening around as well. And I mean, even that last little math section in this episode is great. Okay. Enough dilly-dallying. Let's get into the cool shit. But before we do that, quickly take care of some housekeeping in everyone's favorite section called callbacks. Righto, we asked when we listed off all those character heights in the previous episode, how tall is Rand? Why don't you each have a guess?
6'2", 6'3".
No, you're way taller than 6'3". Matt's
6'3".
like 6'3". Perrin is 6'1", and Rand is 6'8".
You 6'8". It's a bit tall, Vil. He was 6'6".
Oh, wow.
According to the fandom wiki, you know, like for what that's worth.
6'8" with some high-heeled shoes on.
Yes, these with his fancy boots. And
Nice boots.
Lord Dragon boots. Yes. Yeah, so pretty fucking tall. To me anyway, as a 5'0".
I'm in the fives, but a high five.
Another high five. We were talking about Elaine and like why she doesn't just use, the power to drain all the water from her clothes, or have Avienda or one of the kin or someone use a weave to like squeeze all the water out of her clothes instead of sort of berating her for being wet the whole time. We speculated about someone that may have done it before. I think, was it you, Joe, that mentioned, or Willie, that when Nynaeve was dunked in the river after Margilian attacked her and Lan is there, I think she does dry herself off with the one power there.
Does it when Lan dunks her in the water?
Yes, in New Spring. And then the one specific instance that we also spoke about, it was in chapter 13 of Lord of Chaos, where Theodrin pours a bucket of water over Nynaeve, who then uses the one power. After getting angry enough, like she's trying to work on her block, but pouring the bucket of water on her just made her angry, and she was angry enough to channel the water out. That time when Nynaeve did that with Theodrin, it was also an opportunity for Nynaeve to reflect on how they've been urged not to use the one power to do chores, lest they channel too often and eventually too much. So maybe that was Elaine's reluctance, so like maybe she's been coached, so it just didn't occur to her to ask someone to do it because, in their training in the White Tower, it's always been said, don't use the one power for chores and menial tasks and stuff.
I have
objection, Your Honor.
Excuse me while I object, Your Honor.
Please.
If you are with child and you are soaked to the bone wet, it can be argued that it is fatal. You could die from pneumonia. Your baby could die. I mean, this is in defense of an Aes Sedai's life. So, totally, you can channel to do it. I would argue.
Okay, that's a long road to hoe, but okay, sure. All right. What other inane bullshit did we discuss? Okay, strap in. Everyone's favorite topic. Pigeons. Research has been performed with the intention of discovering how pigeons, after being transported, can find their way back from distant places they have never visited before. Most researchers believe that homing ability is based on a map and compass model, with the compass feature allowing birds to orient and the map feature allowing birds to determine their location relative to a goal site or home loft. While the compass mechanism appears to rely on the sun, the map mechanism has been highly debated. A prominent theory is that the birds are able to detect a magnetic field to help them find their way home. Scientific research previously suggested that on top of a pigeon's beak, a large number of iron particles are found, which remain aligned to Earth's magnetic north like a natural compass, thus acting as a compass which helps a pigeon in determining its home. However, a 2012 study disproved this theory, putting the field back on course to search for an explanation as to how animals detect magnetic fields. Other research indicates that homing pigeons also navigate through visual landmarks by following familiar roads and other human-made features, making 90-degree turns and following habitual routes much the same way that humans navigate. Research by John Hagstrom of the U.S. Geological Survey suggests that homing pigeons use low-frequency infrasound to navigate. Sound waves as low as 0.1 hertz have been observed to disrupt or redirect a pigeon's navigation. The pigeon ear, being far too small to intercept or to interpret such a long wave, directs pigeons to fly in a circle when first taking air in order to mentally map such long infrasound waves. Wild shit. Various experiments suggest that different breeds of homing pigeons rely on different cues to different extents, and it has been observed that when a homing pigeon is released in an unfamiliar area, it will typically fly in a wide circle a few times and then head off in the direction of its home.
That is like calibrating your compass on your phone. You put it up in the
air
and you go weo, circle, and it says,
literally that.
I found 3 GPS satellites. Let's go. Maybe they just tune into the satellites that's out there, like receiver on their beak.
Yes. I mean, technically, the Wheel of Time is way in the future. Maybe their pigeons are picking up on all the Starlink satellites and debris that we left
behind
after the first age.
It's fascinating, and pigeons aren't the only animals that have got down into the insect worlds. For instance, the monarch butterflies migrate huge distances. It was theorized that some of them must be crossing the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
And they have since proven it by actually finding monarch butterflies that would take rest on oil drilling platforms in the middle of the Gulf. Yeah.
Wow, so they're helping nature.
No, that's really that's reaching.
In that instance, yes, but the net effect probably not so much.
Not so much. But fish, whales, big migrations.
But we know why for the whales and stuff, and all those like parts of their brains that they've been studied. But for the pigeons, we still don't know. And I was watching a thing about the monarchs just the other day. A video popped up. They are from Canada all the way to Mexico every year.
Yep.
Bajillions of them, and they all get there.
And get old. They're not like a bee only lives for like 45 days. A drone bee.
Yeah.
The average worker bee. I think it only lives 45 days or so. So everyone's like, there's a bee on the windowsill. Like, I've got to save it. And like, oh yeah, give it some sugar water. Maybe give it a day to its life. Yeah, it flew out and
don't
dies
save
outside.
Bees. That's the message for Blood and Ashes. Fuck the bees.
If you want to save the bees, plant some flowers and wild meadows.
And if you want to save the monarch butterflies, more oil rigs in the Gulf. That'll help
Jody,
out.
that's not the right message.
That's Morris's message.
Without the oil rigs, I think they navigated that whole stretch of
they've done
Gulf
it before.
Of Mexico.
They did it
before. They're just like, oh,
the old butterflies are like, back in my day, we didn't have these fancy benches in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, sticking with the natural world, remember our discussion about bullet ants? The bullet ant sting currently ranks the highest of all insect stings on Justin O. Schmidt's informal sting pain index at 4.0 plus. According to Schmidt, the pain is like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel.
Yeesh.
That sounds painful.
Some victims compared the pain to that of being shot, hence the name of the insect. It is described as causing waves of burning, throbbing, all-consuming pain that continues unabated for up to 24 hours. Lymphadenopathy, edema, tachycardia, and fresh blood appearing in human victim feces are common symptoms from even a single sting.
Pass.
That's a lot
The
of
Sater Mawe people of Brazil use intentional bullet ant stings as part of their initiation rites to become warriors or leaders. The ants are first rendered unconscious by submersion in a natural sedative, and then 80 of them are woven into gloves which resemble large oven mitts made of vines or leaves, stingers facing inward. When the ants regain consciousness, an initiator repeatedly blows smoke at the ants with the objective of making them agitated and aggressive. Once this is done, the initiate has the gloves put on his hands and keeps them on for 5 to 10 minutes or longer. Afterward, the boy's hand and part of his arm are temporarily paralyzed because of the ant venom, and he may shake uncontrollably for days. To fully complete the initiation, a boy or man must go through the ordeal 20 times over the course of several months or even years.
See, I get 10 podcast points for that, in knowing that.
Knowing that they were woven in, yes.
Woven
corrected
with
my
the
apologies.
butts facing. Yes, thank you very much for that. I accept all your apologies. Just when I say something as fact, you should just accept it.
Don't do it again. Don't ever doubt
let's
me.
not get ahead of ourselves. Okay, moving on from the natural world, we had some discussion about Varen and her departing the manor. So, with her absence from the manor house during the attack from the Trollocs, I went back and reread that part, and at the end of the chapter, before the chapter called Vows, when the attack happens, Varen excuses herself from the room where, Rand and everyone is there saying, "I've done what I can here. I'm going to find Thomas." The rain makes his knee ache, even though he denies this to me, or something along those lines, right? But she's talking to the room as if she's done what she can in the room, but she's about to leave, go write the letter, and get the fuck out of Dodge. She's done with what she can do here. So then the attack happens, and we don't hear about her since she's not around anyone from which we get a POV. And then after the attack, while they're going through all the corpses outside in the rain, a servant brings Rand her letter, and he says to Rand, she told him to deliver it to Rand immediately. It's this old guy, and he's in the rain, and like, why? This could have waited. And he said, well, she did say immediately. So she was still actually at the manor during the attack and only left the letter with the servant after the attack. So she may actually have participated in it. So she leaves the room and she's about to leave, but then the attack happens. She only gives the letter to the servant to go give it to Rand after the attack is completed, because he comes and gives it to Rand immediately. So she was still around when all that shit. Now, whether she participated actively or not, I don't know, but I don't see any reason why she wouldn't have.
Yeah,
you know,
would,
like
that would have raised
rivers,
etc.,
etc. Yes, exactly. In the letter, she tells Rand she can be better service to her oath to him elsewhere, and that he should be wary of everyone, especially Aes Sedai, but that he can trust Cadsuane. So, you know, she's not being quite as fishy here as we thought, because that seems like a true message from what we've seen about Varen and her interactions with Cadsuane. Remember, she was about to poison Cadsuane, and then Cadsuane said something that convinced that Cadsuane actually has Rand's best interests at heart. So she's saying to Rand, beware of all Aes Sedai except Cadsuane. You can actually listen to her, you know, which is, you know, from Varen's point of view, the truth. So she is trying to help Rand here. Can't find any reference to Varen's heart or who could be in it. Actually, I found some allusions to the fact that not all Black Archer sisters were part of a heart. Just some of them were set to do very specific tasks. And then in Path of Daggers, in the prologue, Varen thinks about the man that she killed. Remember we spoke about, like, she's been banished from Farmading. Is it because she killed a guy there? You know, like, what is the reason for her, you know, not being allowed back into Farmading? Remember when she went back with Cancer and she used a fake name and stuff as well? So in Path of Daggers, in the prologue, Varen thinks about the man that she killed. He had tried to stab her, so she killed him in self-defense. But her smile was the last thing he ever saw. So she was smiling when she killed this man. Okay? It could have been in Farmading, but it could also have been anywhere, really. Like, smiling as she killed him could have been part of what she had to do to join the Black Archer. So inconclusive about whether the murder is tied to her exile from Farmading or not. A lot of people speculate about, like, some of the dark rites that, you know, Black Archer sisters would have to go through to be able to join their ranks, probably to prove that they are, you know, quote unquote evil. So, you know, expecting her to kill someone, she might have been smiling because this person gave her the perfect opportunity to kill them in self-defense. I mean, that's her memory, so she's not lying about that unless she's lying to herself. Then we said Moiraine was 5'2", and that she is particularly short. So I looked up some real-world analogs. Who else is 5'2" that we know?
Please,
famous people.
Tom Cruise.
Yes. I've got 6 people here. They're all women, so that would be apples with apples.
Tom Cruise, Scott Morrison.
Emilia Clarke, who played Daenerys Targaryen in Game of Thrones.
Tiny.
Anna Kendrick.
Don't know who that is.
She's an actress and singer. Was in the what are those cheering movies? Oh gosh,
Pitch Perfect.
It's the one that always looks like a mouth
Pitch
is
Perfect.
open.
That's it.
Like, whenever you see a photo of her, mouth is open. Like,
She's got huge teeth.
Maybe.
She's got the teeth of a much
Zoe
taller
Kravitz. Do you guys know who Zoe Kravitz obviously is? Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
Yes, she's an actress.
Also now lately been quite a prolific actress. Yeah. Shakira, 5'2". Nicki Minaj, Kim Kardashian, 5'2".
Is that? Sorry, I'm not going to say anything. About
Stop right there. Edit, Morris. Edit.
Vertically.
Lose a lot of fans.
I think the Venn diagram of Kim Kardashian fans and Blood and Ashes podcast fans has a very, very small overlap.
You never know.
To that one person, sorry. We almost offended you. we were wondering, I was wondering when Catswain threatened Min, and it was at the end of that chapter, Vows, after the attack, when Catswain is trying to force Min to tell her what Rand is feeling. Blossoms of Fire is a weave of the One Power using earth, air, and fire to create a bar of fire less than the width of a large man's forearm, which seems like a very specific.
Jesus Christ.
So imagine a large man's forearm, but it's less than that. So is it then the width of an average man's arm?
No, slightly more than the average man's forearm, obviously.
And it's about 10 feet tall. So these bars of red, as they are called sometimes, make a high-pitched whining sound. So when another flow of air is added in, these bars explode to 30 feet across. So suddenly that thing, the width of a large man's forearm, becomes 30 feet wide, incinerating and throwing enemies across the battlefield. So they almost instantaneously just go from this tiny little bar of red.
Is a pillar how
upright?
Tall, upright. Is it?
10 feet.
Okay. So just a 30 feet radius. Wow. It sounds
diameter, I
more
would
and
say.
more like D&D rules, this. 30 feet is quite specific.
Area of effect, yes. Then death gates. The destination shifts every time a death gate opens, and the destinations themselves are random, preventing too many shadow spawn corpses from accumulating in a single area. Like with a typical gateway, a death gate size is determined by the amount of power the user can hold.
Random, but random all over the universe, or just on the planet?
Don't know.
Just opens up into deep space.
Then we asked ourselves, how did Rand convince Lutheran to let go of Sidene again? When Lutheran wants to kill himself and Rand is drawing on Sidene, Rand asks him why he fought the Trollocs if he really wants to die. He tells him they need to make it to Tarmon Gai'dan or else the whole world will die. And Luce finally agrees and they can die at Tarmon Gai'dan. Because Luce's whole thing was give me the power so I can kill myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made peace. We got a truce now.
They've got an understanding. Yeah. I had asked if there was a moment of admiration from Lan when he realizes what Nynaeve had done when she drops him off at the cliffs on the far end of the Borderlands and tricks him into riding across the entirety of the Borderlands flying the Golden Crane. But no, there isn't. He immediately clocks that he's at World's End and he's just shocked by it. And I had said they are as far east as possible, but it's obviously as far west as possible.
Ah, indeed.
As far east as possible would have been at the Spine, at Tarwin's Gap even. We said that Loyal's dad is never mentioned. They only ever talk about Elder Hammond. Loyal's dad is super mentioned many times. Every time Loyal is named Loyal, son of Arendt.
No, but I mean, not mentioned, but
yes,
written about.
Expounded upon, yes.
Yes.
Arendt, son of Halan, is an Ogier elder of Stedding Shangtai and father of Loyal. Elder Arendt learned that his son Loyal has a talent for tree singing, and Arendt demands that his son learn this ability to the fullest extent. Like many of the other elders of the Ogier, he often speaks of his visit with the Green Man. So he's there, he's alive. He tried to push Loyal into a life of tree singing to maximize his talents, bit of a stage dad. And Loyal said, no, I'll just go out in the world. And it was his mother that ended up tracking him down. So his dad, I don't know if I've got a lot of time for his dad. Loyal doesn't think about his dad much more Elder Hammond.
Well, father-son relationships can be tricky. It's not unique to only Loyal and his dad.
Yeah. I had wondered about Matt's interaction with Darlin Cisnera in the stone, and said that he didn't accidentally knock him out with a thing of luck when they were fighting. But it's actually more along these lines. Matt is fighting High Lord Darlin and is not finding any openings. Finally, Matt attacks all out and is able to sweep his feet out, then crack him on the head. Matt thinks he sees Rand trotting through a hallway, but he believes he must be mistaken. Matt hits another High Lord in the head by accident when putting his staff back on his shoulder. He and Julian are looking for a shortcut passage the High Lords use to get to the jail cells. So it wasn't Darlin that he knocked out by accident. It was like after he beat Darlin, he put the thing over his shoulder and there was a dude behind him that he knocks out with his luck.
Yeah, okay.
Which is great. And then the last one from me is just we were spot on with Harine's interactions with Rand. It's first the bargain, then Farmadding, and then Shadow Logoth, and then later as the ambassador, Rand picks her up in Arad Doman later. So look forward to more Harine.
Din Togara.
That's the one.
2 wins.
Yes, 2 of them. Enough of my bullshit, though. Let's now hear from our listeners. And the first listener we will hear from is Mitch Schindler, who writes in again and asks the following. Based on New Spring, Moiraine spent very little time in the White Tower. When did she learn all her skills? Also, Lan became a warder after Moiraine ran from the tower. How did he get his reputation? Moiraine and Lan were trying to hide from other Aes Sedai and the tower, so when did they develop their reputations?
Well, where do we begin? It's a genuine question. Where do we begin? I have no idea.
I've got a long response here. I said, Moiraine did spend a lot of her time searching for the Dragon Reborn. There was also a 20-year span between New Spring and the Eye of the World, right? So for like half of New Spring and the 20 ensuing years, Moiraine is looking for the Dragon Reborn. But after Swan became the Amelin, I think the pressure to put Moiraine on the throne in Cairhien lessened, so she didn't have to hide from her sisters at all. She still had a reputation for always being out on the road, but she did go back to the tower from time to time. She had apartments there. She had contacts in the tower and in Tarvalon, in the city itself. So I don't think it is a case of her like running and hiding from sisters. In the beginning here, she was still an accepted, she became an Aes Sedai, but like went out on a mission that she had to try and keep secret, right? Searching for the Dragon Reborn was hard, and they also knew that they had those other sisters that were sort of killing. They had killed the Amelin seat and were killing some of the other sisters that knew about the foretelling in the Amelin study that foretold the birth of the Dragon Reborn. So like there was a lot of reasons for her to hide. But I think with Swan as Amelin, that gave her a fair bit of leeway, right? So 20 years, long time to hone her skills. Obviously friendly with some other sisters. I mean, she seems to know a lot of them personally, not just from their accepted days, but like to have actually had interactions with them.
You don't cultivate control and power by hiding in your ivory tower. So I would imagine that at any point in time, about a third of the sisters should be out in the world doing business. Aes Sedai business, so that is.
Yeah.
Whether it is finding things, studying things, or controlling kingdoms, looking for initiates to bring into it.
Kidnapping rulers.
Kidnapping rulers is sometimes part of it as well. But yes, if you're out there, if you're just in the tower, but I think that you've got to be sort of, there'll be probably some of them that's administrative and tower bound, but probably a rotating roster where they're like, come and check in every 3 months for a month. Where Moraine's like, I'll check in every 3 years for a week.
Yes, yeah. That's the impression I always had.
Well, she must have. But like mentioning that she's now with Swan on the throne, on the Amelin seat, she doesn't have to worry about the throne so much. So that's a part I hadn't considered. So yeah.
So as for Lan, he's known throughout the Borderlands, even before he met Moiraine. People know him as the heir to the Malkiri throne. They know about his prowess as a swordsman and as a battle leader. When we meet him in New Spring, he is in the command of a force of troops, and he's only about 26 at that point, right? But he knows the nobility in Shinar, like he was raised by the Shinarans. Everybody knows exactly who he is. Plenty of time for him to build up a reputation, both in Shinar, going into the Blight and, legendary missions and, killing Trollocs and besting people at duels and all that sort of stuff. Plus 20 years passed for him too, between New Spring and the Eye of the World, right? And they were on the road looking for the Dragon Reborn. I'm sure there were plenty of opportunities for him to build on his reputation, no matter how secretive they were trying to be. They weren't in like literal hiding. They were keeping a low profile from the tower and its machinations. But, there's the 26 years of Lan being a badass and being put in the position that he's in at the beginning of New Spring, plus 20 years of Lan being a badass, building on that reputation.
If you go by the reputation that he has with other warders, that's not a reputation that's going to be built by not being there, doing things with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume that they would go back to the tower. Aes Sedai probably also need a holiday. So go back to the tower, train, recheck, read a book, whatever. But none of the warders would have the respect that they have for him if he wasn't there during certain things. So
had at least shown them somehow also like his own prowess as a warder. Like the warders would respect someone that is, cool under pressure, can obviously fight very well and that sort of stuff. And you can certainly tell from the other warders that they do have that for him.
And then also maybe they come back from adventure and he's like a whole wheelbarrow full of like trophies of monsters that he killed. The heads for the grounds to study.
Of Trolloc tusks and Madral capes.
Surely Moiraine over 20 years had to collaborate with other Aes Sedai and go on missions to do stuff. Yeah. And then the warders would work together. And they would see him in action. She wasn't alone, just the two of them for 20 years.
Yeah.
And also, they might not even have to collaborate on missions. Remember in this book, where Moiraine and him go to Adelaide and Van Dien. And they've got warders there, and then they get attacked. So those warders were just hanging out at home, and they got to see Lan in action. And then they had spread the word as well.
Spread that over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that answers your question, Mitch. Mitch has also sent us a voice note.
Yeah.
And it sounds a little bit like this.
Hi, it's Mitch Schindler. I've been listening to your podcast from around the 80s and further on. I decided to go back to the beginning, and you spoke a lot about about the TV show. And I understand why they had Perrin kill his wife, because we know in the books it describes how careful he was, because how strong he was. That would probably be harder to show, but by killing his wife, they can show why he tried to think things through. Thank you.
Thanks, Mitch. So, this is a bit of a touchy subject.
Eerie silence.
The show in general is something that we don't want to talk about too much here. I mean, Mitch is right. That's obviously, I can see that everyone can see and everyone knows that is what their intention was.
Yeah.
I think the umbrage that everyone took is that it is a very lazy and ham-fisted way of doing it, inserting a character, making him kill her, sort of putting an angle on his struggle for control to... that wasn't really there in the books. I mean, yes, he is a slow thinker. He thinks of himself as slow and careful so that he doesn't hurt anyone. But the way they did it just felt forced. And it unfortunately falls into a very unfavorable trope called fridging, right? Like that's something that people generally recognize for what it is and push back on.
I do feel that at some point in time we need to have a session to let it all out.
A therapy session. We almost started
a therapy
one today.
session, because I don't want to change my opinion, because I don't feel there's any point of it being changed. And just for the record, I have not even watched season 3, which supposedly is the best of it, but I'm not putting myself through that pain. It was season 2, the last episode, where I just switched it off before it was finished, I think. And I was just like,
gosh,
that's it. Like, don't.
Yeah.
But I can go in depth on why it was horrible.
Okay, well, I'm trying not to dwell on it. Jody, you had one observation to make. It's only fair that I get to, and Willie gets to, and you get to. So let's have your final say, and then we won't dwell.
The only thing I wanted to say was in his voice note when he said, "I've been listening to you since the 80s." I was like, "Since the 80s? Wow, I haven't been doing it that long. It feels like it's been that long." And then like, oh, from episode 80. Okay.
I had the exact same reaction. Thanks for that, Mitch. Keep those voice notes and messages coming. Then we hear from friend of the show, Levi Wagner, who writes in to close the loop on his Varen question from the last episode. Hey guys, I listened to the Varen section today and you guys covered exactly what I was thinking, especially with the part about her being a free agent and seemingly acting without anyone giving her orders. It will be interesting to see if in the rest of the books she ever has to carry out an order for the Chosen, or we see her actually turn down an order. It does make some sense that she would be operating independently, since she is really in the tower from what we read. But you think one of the Chosen would have picked her up due to her relationship with Rand. Anyway, she is a great character. Thanks as always for the great show. Cheers, Levi. Agreed. Love Varen, and it will be interesting to see if we see her interact with anyone from the Black Arger at all, or the Shadow as a whole. I can't recall any specific instances or anything like that. For me, the big twist was sort of like her alone, admitting that stuff and writing the letter for Egwene and stuff. You guys remember anything? Any interactions from Varen? No? Too long ago, hey?
Arriving with Perrin and Huron and saying Moraine Center. That was a clue as well for us right in the beginning. But then you were too
a big one.
Young and naive to have understood that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I did make a note here in response to Levi's message saying, I think it was Willie that mentioned it in the last episode, but Varen also only became Black Archer because she wasn't really given a choice. She was busted investigating them and decided to join them. Not because she's got a heart of dead black coal like Willie, but because she thought it would be the perfect way to study them and eventually divulge their secrets. So in acting as a free agent, that would not mean a free agent of the Shadow necessarily. I think she genuinely wanted to see Rand fulfill the prophecy of the dragon and defeat the Dark One. That's what I choose to believe.
Oh, 100%.
I just, for the record, hard coal is not how I describe my heart.
Did I say
More
dead black coal?
Dead black coal, dead hard black coal. It's more like obsidian and...
Okay. Dead Black Coal is an excerpt from a Rodriguez song.
Oh, really?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I hear his voice singing in my head. And for everyone else who hasn't, no one else listening to this in America knows who the hell this guy is. Go look him up.
A lot of people
is it from Sugar Man?
Yes.
I think it's from Sugar Man.
I think so.
Okay.
Man, watch the documentary.
That documentary was fantastic. Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks for that trip down memory lane, Levi. Then we switch to Mr. Dependable, Ian Yellen, who is back with the following. He says, hope you all had a happy Christmas and New Year. I was thinking that when Elaine was soaked and wandering through the palace, the reason no one channeled the water away is because the women fell into 3 categories: unable to consistently channel, like Elaine; unknowing of the weave, like Avienda and the kin; or uncaring or self-absorbed, like the Seafolk or Vandine. We always assume the kin have experience because of their age, but we forget that other than when they learned what they learned from Elaine and Nynaeve, they would only know the weaves and accepted. Who was thrown out would have known at best. Most were thrown out as novices, and we learn in New Spring that there was a lot they wouldn't have learned until they became full Aes Sedai. Put a pin in that. I think there are some Aes Sedai also in the kin, right? Like ex-Aes Sedai. Wasn't, Zareen or whatever that, she wasn't full Aes Sedai. I'm conflating that with Setel Anan.
Yeah.
Setel Anan was full Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
And she's not telling anybody anything.
I can't show anyone anything either.
But she doesn't want anyone to know. It's a huge secret to her. Nobody knows.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, fair enough. And then for the Trolloc attack, the strongest theory I've seen on who was behind the attack was Taim as a newly raised Forsaken. Yeah, so I've seen some chatter about this online. Some people think that at this point, Taim has already been raised. I'll see how he interacts with the Forsaken later, like whether it's something that's happened in the past or whether he's sort of like, I don't know why, but I feel like he was promoted sort of like on the spot, almost in battle, but that's just my warped memory from when I read the book last, which is when it was published, which is now a while ago. And then lastly, Ian says, also it was mentioned that Julian had been with Matt since Tyr, but he'd been with the Supergirls in Tanchico and only joined up with Matt in Ibu Dar. So in Tyr, yes, he entered the stone with Matt, but then he went to Tanchico with the girls on the boat. Tom and Julian and the Supergirls went on the boat, and Matt was not with them. So only when Matt joined up with all of them in Ibu Dar again did Julian join Matt. So he wasn't with Matt specifically from Tyr. He was with Matt. Met him in Tyr, but stayed with him since Ibu Dar. Also, I thought it would be funny with part of the discussion in last episode to say that Rand would be better off if all the people in his head paid rent.
Yes.
Could retire early.
Because right now, they're all in there rent-free, but they should be. They should be paying rent. Thank you, Mr. Dependable. I love those details, like exactly when Julian was with Matt. Then we get 2 emails from longtime fan Jonna Pierce, and the first one goes like this. Good afternoon. Hopes this find you well. Glad you had a good time on your break. I've been listening to episode 110, and aside from the pasty conversation, I'm overthinking about Matt and the plans to go rescue Moraine. I looked it up, and it appears to be about a month in between this time where they make the decision and to go to the actual rescue. Being that it's still 2 books away, it seems it could or should be longer, but not really, considering they had to finish what they were doing and finalize plans and then travel to the tower. I don't recall all the details, but without traveling by the power, which I don't think they do, most of that might just be spent getting to the tower to start with. Yes. So, Jonna, I went and looked up. So when Matt meets up with Talmanes in our episode today, and it happens in the north of Altara, the Tower of Genji is 10 days north of Whitebridge. Jody, I see you looking at the map. So Tower of Genji, by description, is 10 days north of Whitebridge, near the Arenal River, down which the spray took Matt, after the Shadow Logoth split. So taking into account the position of Shadow Logoth on the map and the distance traveled from Shadow Logoth before Matt sees the tower from the spray, I figure the Tower of Genji is about halfway between Baerlon and Whitebridge. And if that is 10 days travel, Matt could conceivably reach Whitebridge from where he is now in about 12 or 15 days, and therefore the Tower of Genji in around 20 to 25, loosely. So like a month-ish. So let's see what happens and what they get up to on the trip up there. I know that one thing at the very least happens, and that is they find that village. Is it Hindustap or something like that?
Yeah.
Where everyone has the purge at night, like everyone goes crazy and they kill each other, and the next morning everyone's alive again.
Yeah.
So that definitely happens on this trip. So there could be a couple things that sort of delay them by a couple of days, pretty much lining up with Jonna's math here.
I think that's the next book.
The rescue's in Towers of Midnight.
Oh, right. I know that Sanderson wrote that bit because he's talked about it a lot. So it has to be a Sanderson book.
It is, but we still have to get through Gathering Storm before we get to that radness. Okay, so back to Jonna's first email, which goes, I'm so excited for this part. I squeaked with excitement when I got to this part and Matt asked about the letter. I'm like, yes, been waiting for this. Poor freaking Tom's been reading the thing over and over so many times. I feel like he was baiting Matt over and over, trying to get him to ask about it without mentioning it, which is exactly what Willie also said last time. And then the dice... Was it you, Joe?
Subtle.
Sorry. Credits where credit is due. And then the dice stop twice in this stretch for things that have nothing to do with Tuon. I think the dice are not just for Matt's fate directly, but about the last battle. Each bit that he gets the dice in his head for have to happen for the battle to come out or to come about, and he has to win each of those tosses to ensure winning the last battle. All the best. Thanks, Jonna. Now your second email. I have to mention this because it's super cool to me. Okay, a couple things really. This email's even longer than the first one. First, in A Bronze Bear, when they are moving from the insult room to the map room, they are discussing the palace shifting. In the episode, you mentioned that they kept meeting people in the hallways, and I thought, well, yeah, because no one can find their rooms. So everyone's wandering around and refusing to admit that they can't find their way. Right. Which Jonna found very funny. Which does make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, so they are talking about this scary ass shit, like for real. What if part of the city wall just poofs? Sometimes, Jonna, it's really hard to read your sentences in your voice, but I'm doing my best. My favorite thing is Denny, though. She's for real a badass. She's like, let me tell you what's really scary, and talks about this drunk guy almost killing her. She knew in that moment she was close to getting snuffed because she couldn't get him knocked out, but no need to be scared until you are certain that you are that close to death. She says this is just maybe, and any day you wake up may be the day that you die, which makes me and Elaine shiver. You had talked a little bit about the other bit I wanted to mention when Elaine is with Norrie and they are talking with the cut purse, and Norrie actually pulls a sheet of paper from the folder. Elaine says she thought trumpets would sound Laugh my ass off. She should have made some sparkles or confetti or something. Sometimes all I can think about is how badly I want to have a side quest with Nori and Bulwer together. Oh well, I guess that's all for now. We're prepping for a big snowstorm here, so I'll be reading and listening all weekend. Should be caught up soon. Have a great day. Shoo!
Now all I can think of is Nori and Baller. That would be awesome. Little fan fiction novella on its way.
I mean, you have to throw Mistress Harfer in there as well.
Yeah, it's a graphic novel.
Yeah,
with like the 3 old ones.
And
one
and
adventurer.
then they can hire Nerim and Lopin as their manservants, and then Jesus, that would be hysterical. Oh, I started something.
Okay, thanks again, Jonna. Keep those messages coming. Next up is Matt with 2 T's, not the Prince of Ravens.
No.
It has been a long time since I last dropped a message to you all. 2026 has brought some new inspiration, so this week I decided to pick up Knife of Dreams and read the chapters you are covering on the show. The problem was that I'd forgotten how nice it is to read RJ's prose after reading a few other books that aren't so pretty, flowery, drawn out in a good way. Not sure exactly how I'd describe it, but it was so enjoyable it made me stop reading Knife of Dreams and go right back to the beginning and start a complete reread.
Wow,
cheers,
epic.
Matt.
Love it.
Bravo.
How good is that? Matt sent in a voice note as well, but it was about his favorite moments. So I'll save it for then.
Oh. Okay, all right. I saw it there in the folder.
Yes. Okay, then. Marlene, I know you sent in a voice note, but it relates mainly to the chapters in the next episode, so I'm going to bank that one for you, Marlene. You've got one for the next episode. But what I will do is read the email that you also sent. So here goes. So much in these chapters, and I'm dying that we have to wait for chapter 26, which is evident from the voice note she sent me. Chapter 23, I have not been a big fan of Romanda, but the woman is a regular Benoit Blanc. She is picking up all the hints. Benoit Blanc, that's the Knives Out character, right?
Yeah.
First, Saidar weaves are failing, or perhaps Black Arja or Forsaken are countering them. I mean, this is something we had previously seen in the White Tower with the rats and stuff, and the wards against the rats failing. And we had ascertained that it was not from intervention from the Black Arja at all. It was just happening. But this only happens with Saidar, so it's quite possible that it is just spluttering or
I wonder.
Getting a bit of interference.
Why
I've
would
thought
you
about
need
this.
to put interference into Sardine if it's already so heavily tainted?
True.
But I'm sure the Dark One knows it's cleansed now. But I'm thinking if not the cleansing had some effect, it weakened Saidar.
Nah, they're not connected in that
It infected.
way.
It is connected. They made the
Not
tunnel.
in
We
that
spoke
way.
about
I don't
it. The
think.
tubes. It was the tubes.
The internet is tubes.
So
Yes, I mean, Rand did use Saidar. I mean, that's why Nynaeve was there in the first place, right? Like to channel an insane amount of Saidar and to basically use the Saidar to make the funnel that he squeezed Saidine through to siphon off the taint.
And
Interesting theory.
the Kudin Kol on Tremelking melted, but only the female one, not the male one. Like Saidar was affected badly by this, and I'm wondering if this is not. It's just weakened it from being used in that way. It's now a bit weak, but it'll come back. It's busy healing or something. But it's not.
Interesting.
Just wondering if it just got a cold from all of that kind of a thing.
I will allow you to continue with this theory, and I'm listening intently.
Billy will allow it, Moritz.
I wonder if the first mention of the wards and weaves failing happened before the cleansing event.
That sounds like a pin and a callback.
Oh, it sounds like a callback that I'm not looking forward to doing, but I'll give it a shot. I'll ask some AI and just hope for the best.
Just believe whatever cuck it says. And that's cuck
It
spelled
spouts
K-A-K.
so much shit. Oh, yeah. Yes, I saw
Not
your interaction
C-U-C-K,
on Discord.
which is a completely different thing.
Okay, let's continue with Marlene's email here. She says, second, Nisao finds the critical link between the murdered sisters and Cabriana Macandes. That name chimed a small gong in her head. Very cool. The Delana Halima relationship, as Halima appears to be in the lead. Fourth thing that she notes here is the Ashaman warder tells of a woman weaving saidin, and saidin touches the tent ward. Boom. So that's Narishma just calling out.
I would tell you to get out of my chapters, but since it's our roof mistress, with all respect, I will allow it.
In chapter 24, Marlene asks, does anyone get abusive vibes from the mistress of novices here? I am a fan of Sylviana, but really, I love watching Egwene like threading the needle in the tower, and the little throwaway line about no more headaches. She needs a little more critical thinking on that fact. I mean, I've often wondered about the Aes Sedai and their penchant for physical punishment, and then even like, you know, using the power to like switch people and stuff, and then for like sisters as a punishment, they use birching, and it's very, you know, I almost said capital punishment. It's not capital, but it's corporal, you know, like it is
not quite capital yet.
Not quite capital yet.
Listen, we forget that they are uncivilized people. This is not the Age of Legends. These people are medieval.
It's true.
Yeah, if we try and remember that.
Yes, if you're going to draw a parallel.
They're savages, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, we should be kind of happy that we don't have like drawing and quartering and things like that taking place more regularly in and around Randland.
So I mean, we see it through the...
Let's deal with a bit of spanking, and we don't have to go with like flailing people and stuff.
It's the Forsaken. The Forsaken always going like, these bloody savages, look at them. Like they're like yesterday, like before they woke up today. Like, what's going on? Look at these savages. And they're right in that department, at least. Willie, don't get excited. It's like, yes, getting through.
Marlene continues with, in chapter 25, it's fun to watch Elaida digging a deeper hole with everyone. Now she's drinking heavily, and this is painful to have to admit, but Elaida demanding total obedience is giving me PTSD, and no one dares to tell her what Egwene is up to. Lol. Note the tower wards are failing too. Can't tell if it's an active interference or the Dark One. We've covered this, Marlene. It's ostensibly the Dark One because we've ruled out active interference. I think it's actually Alviarin or someone that notes, you know, there's more rats in here, and it's not because of anything they're doing. And then the POV to Matt and Tuon's first kiss and the arrival of the band. Just high-level cliff notes here, Marlene, just summarizing the chapter for you guys. But then she ends on a request. Perhaps the ladies would like a tea, maybe a roof mistress or a maiden of the spear. May you always find shade and water. Thanks, Marlene.
Well, she summarized all the chapters, so thanks for joining us in this episode. It was
Sleep
great.
well and wake.
All right, cheers, everybody. Thanks, Billy.
Hey, no, I've got like pages to read.
No, we've got cool stuff to get to. All right, so let me quickly then, that's it from our listeners. I will quickly burn through previously on Blood and Ashes so that we can get to the cool stuff. So, previously on Blood and Ashes. At the manor house in Tyr, Loyal and Aerith get married, but the joy is short-lived as a huge force of 100,000 Trollocs and Madrol attack the house, and everyone springs into action. As Rand prepares for the battle, Lews Theron wins the struggle for saidin and takes control, unleashing devastating new weaves on the Shadowspawn, which are quickly copied by Loghain and the other Ashaman. After the Shadowspawn are destroyed, Rand has to convince Lews to release saidin instead of killing them both, and it's a tense moment as everyone around realizes how much saidin he's holding and not immediately letting go. When everything has settled down, Rand is handed a letter from Varen saying she needs to be elsewhere and that Rand should be aware of everyone, but that he can trust Cadsuane. Loyal tells Rand he needs to return to Steading Shanghai to address the stump. Eldar Harman takes on the job of finding and closing the way gates so the Shadowspawn can't use them. Bashir returns and tells Rand the Shonchan have agreed to him meeting the Daughter of the Nine Moons. Meanwhile, Lan is frustrated that Rand is so focused on the Shonchan and not the Borderlands. Nynaeve recognizes this and sets a plan in motion to help him gather the remaining Malkiri forces in the Borderlands. She drops him off at Land's End, the westernmost point of the Borderlands, and then travels ahead of him to start spreading the word of the flight of the Golden Crane and that Lan Mandragoran rides for Tarman Gaidon. Meanwhile, Rand drops Loyal, Aerith, and Corval off at Steading Shanghai before continuing to Tyr. He books a single room for the whole party in the city and then uses a gateway to travel into the Heart of the Stone. There he finds Darlin, Cisnera, and Alana, and after some catching up declares that Darlin will be made the king of Tyr. Rand loses his temper 3 times and Cadsuane eventually switches him with a flow of air. Darlin asks Caroline Damadrate to be his queen, and they prepare to act out Rand's orders in Tyr, arresting all the Shonchan in the city and arranging for a force to be sent to Aradaman. Meanwhile, also in Tyr, the first 12 of the sea folk are meeting on a ship in the harbour. Hareen and Shalon are there to are there and subject to mostly disdain from the rest of the sea folk after Harine's bargain with Rand was deemed poor. When they have all convened, Logain arrives with a message from the Dragon Reborn. He has orders for the sea folk which he expects to be followed. When they discuss the sea folk ambassador to Rand, Logain says Harine was picked by Rand, much to everyone's shock. Another message arrives and the sea folk learn that the peace-loving Amayar who have enjoyed their protection from the sea folk since the breaking have committed mass suicide after the Kudenkal on Tremalking was destroyed in the act of cleansing Saidin. The sea folk are rocked, but Logain makes it clear they can mourn, but they can mourn on the march to Tarmon Gaidan. Which brings us then to today's chapters, starting with chapter 23, Call to a Sitting. Joe, can we call on you for a summary, please?
God sakes, people. I wrote these notes very long ago, so I read these chapters long ago, so bear with me as I try to recall from my chicken scratches. All right. So we are with Romanda. Yay. Everybody's favorite Aes Sedai. So we're in the camp, obviously, with the rebels. She's alone. Her tent mates are out because even they have to share tents. There's so many Aes Sedai. She's catching up on some reading. Is the book she's reading, this is the first question I have, is that the book that they were reading that in New Spring? That all the novices were secretly reading?
It could be, because what I found is The Flame, the Blade, and the Heart is a book of romantic adventure stories. It tells the tales of Birgitte and Gaidel Kane, Ansalan and Barashel and Rogosh and Dunsinen, among others. It seems to be a favorite among both young ladies and grown women who like the idea of romance and adventure. Avienda lends a copy to Egwene in Fires of Heaven, and Romanda considers that her love for such novels would ruin her reputation as an Aes Sedai and a woman born in Farmadding.
Yeah.
So it has been referenced before. I can't remember if it was in New Spring, but certainly by Egwene.
I did have a little look, but I would have to go back and read in New Spring to find it, and I was like, nah.
Okay, no.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, she's reading that. Bode is in the room. Cawthon. She's helping cleaning up, and she's worrying as well about Saidar failing. The whole, like, all the keepings failing on the food here. So we know it's not just the tower. We know it's here as well, everywhere. And there's no reason that she can figure out what's going on. She's thinking about Egwene as well. And in her mind, I've noted that she says, like, Egwene, that woman. And it's like, that woman, not child. So she's already starting to go like, It's like, yeah, I saw what you did there. Her reading is interrupted by Nassau, who has come to ask her to talk to Lelaine for her. I like this thing. She drops the book on the ground. She's like, she doesn't want to get caught reading, and then it's like trying to kick it under her chair with her foot and making such a racket, like everybody can see what she's doing. Nassau just raises her eyebrows like, yeah, I've read it too, don't worry about it. So Lelaine apparently has forbidden Nassau from asking any more questions about Anaya and Chiron, their murders, saying it's Blue Aja business. But Romanda's like, well, why in the first place are you asking questions? And this leads to her having to admit that Egwene set her the task before she was captured, and she's still carrying it out, doing her job. So she's still investigating it. They have a little chat about Egwene. Both of them think that she's awesome, like the rest of us, but are not so willing to admit it, in Romanda's case at least. Romanda tells Nassau that I'll have a chat with Lelaine, and she can carry on with her investigations and ask as many questions as she wants about Chiron and Anaya. And she says, well, tell me what you know. And it turns out, what she's learned from the murders so far is that they were both friends with Cabriana Mercandes. And like our roof mistress mentioned, chiming a little bell in her head. She's like, oh, I know that name. That's familiar. Cabriana Mercandes. So she tells Nassau that carry on your investigation and report to her while Egwene is indisposed, so to speak. So she's like, shit. So she's kind of like usurped that position or that authority. Theodrin interrupts them then. She pops into the tent. She tells them that Lelaine has called a sitting of the hall. What about? No idea. They don't tell her that kind of stuff. But they are all out of there pretty quickly to go see what this mad woman is up to at the moment. So outside of the tents on the way to the hall, they get a look at nearly all the Aes Sedai holding the power. As usual, we've seen this all before. Everyone's on edge since the murders, so they're all holding the power, being followed by their warders. Romanda makes a point of not embracing the source to set an example. Don't be fearful, blah, blah, blah. She sees Swan and Gareth along the way, and she's complaining to herself about their sick relationship. She's like, I don't know why that woman's washing his clothes and blah, blah, blah. Before she can get to the tented hall, a gong sounds, signaling the next novice lessons are about to begin, and all of them flood out onto the walkways. She spots Sharina, who is that old novice that's taken charge. She's the one that set everything up and all the families and all that kind of stuff. And it's actually working really, really well. She's talking to the mistress of the novices, Tiana. And from a distance, it doesn't look like Tiana's in charge. It looks like Sharina is telling Tiana what to do, and she's just like nodding her head in acceptance. So, Romanda does not like that as well. She's like, we're giving this woman too much leeway. Approaching them, Sharina quickly runs off to join her family. And then before she goes, Romanda wonders, she's just like, is Sharina, does she have fewer wrinkles on her face, or was I just imagining that? It's just is the power starting to affect her? It is. You're not just imagining things. She walks with Tiana a bit, and they talk about Sharina, who turns out is really good at these new healing weaves that Nynaeve has introduced to them. In fact, a lot of the older novices are into that and have a really good talent for it as well. And then she's like, yeah, but why are you letting them practice such, weaves? They're novices. They're not supposed to be that advanced then. And she's like, man, they're doing it anyway. As soon as somebody turns their back, they're 80 years old. They're not going to listen to me. They've lived their whole lives. They're grannies already. Inside the pavilion, we notice that the Amyrlin stole is laid across the empty bench there to remind everybody that Egwene is still the Amyrlin. She's just not here. Nobody get any delusions of grandeur.
Yes, Bjorn.
Lelaine. The list is long. Lelaine has called this session, but she's very closed-lipped. She wants this to be a session that is closed or sealed to the hall, so it makes everybody else get out, and then weaves what is that weave called? I didn't write it down.
Cone of silence.
Yeah, whatever, that one. The anti-eavesdropping one.
Eavesdropping, yeah.
Yeah. And then she lets everybody know that, what was her name? Also didn't write it down. Moria has brought a green sister who has come to speak to them. She's come to look for Egwene Alvier to come and have a chat with the hall and Egwene. She's got a proposal. So this is a green sister, Merise Heimdall. Not Heimdall, but close enough. So she's not part of the tower anymore, and she's not part of the rebels. So it's like a third faction. And she is from the Black Tower. She's there with Jahar Narishma. So she's come with her two warders. One of them is Jahar, and she wants to speak to Egwene, but they're like, well, Egwene's not here at the moment. We can take a message for you. But before they can get really onto anything, Jahar notices that somebody is trying to listen in and used Saidin to try and listen in. Which then makes Delano panic and go, I need to get some air, and immediately run out of the hall. And you're like, Jesus, woman, you got to keep it together. You're not a very good Black Archer.
Falling apart. Yeah, because what I forgot to mention as well is on the way to the hall, Romanda seeing all these people, and she also sees Halima and Delana, thank you, having a chat, and again looking like Halima's in charge of that relationship and not Delana. She's also noticing those kind of things. So there's a chain of little clues that are going to come to fruition at the end here. A real Benoit Blanc.
Indeed. So to prove that it was indeed a man who was channeling, and that this man can actually channel, that he is who he says he is, they bring in a Melkiri green sister called Nacelle. She's been working on a weave that can detect a man holding Saidin, and she uses it, and everybody's like, oh, that's pretty cool, and she can confirm that Narishma is indeed a channeler and that he is holding the power. So confirmed in that respect. Narishma is there to deliver a proposal from Rand. He is offering the rebel hall the right to bond 47 Ashaman as warders, and that number is basically to balance the books, so to speak, as the Black Tower has already bonded 51 sisters, and then so this is the remainder that needs to be filled out. The sitters are not too keen on this idea, but they do have a vote, and in the end, only 2 disagree. He also tells them that the Saidin is now clean, which Merise confirms through their bond. Yeah, so that's all agreed.
Huge moment.
Huge
Hey,
moment.
Aes Sedai, Saidin is cleansed.
And
Stop
also,
killing men.
Yeah, you realize then, like, the Red Aja is now pointless. They're obsolete. Completely obsolete.
Completely.
And they're in charge of the White Tower, So what's going to happen there? So she would like... Elaida wants to get rid of... She's gotten rid of the Blue Aja, but it's in fact the Red Aja that needs to be gotten rid of.
Look, before our listeners write in... I'm sure the Red Aja can still be used to like make a male channeler who's just learning how to channel, make them safe, like bring them to the tower or to escort them to the Black Tower. They have experience with men they can channel. But
find something for them to do.
Yeah, at a high level, not really.
Maybe admin, like writing out like who can channel, where they've gone.
Maybe stable work.
Yes. The horses at the Black Tower. They can be mopping out the horses' stables there. So then Narishma also tells them the story of Ebon Hopwell, who died fighting a woman who could channel Saidin during the cleansing, and that's also confirmed in the story as well. And he's like, remember his name, this guy's going to live on as a legend forever, even amongst you Aes Sedai.
It's a real, what's the Fight Club scene?
Yes, that's what I thought of too. What was his name?
Oh gosh, no,
his name was Robert Paulson.
His name was Robert Paulson. Yeah, his name was Ebon Hopwell.
Yeah, even matches the cadence.
Yeah,
Ebon Hopwell.
So, is that what you were going to say, Moritz?
No, I was going to say like it's his recounting of the story and a woman being able, like a woman attacked them, and and Ebon was like, she's channeling Saidin.
Yes,
that is the final piece of the puzzle that makes Romanda click.
Yeah. And that's when Romanda's like, oh shit. And then all that Cabriana Macandes, and she finally realizes that Halima, it must be a Forsaken, and there's the killer is hiding in their camps, and she calls for their immediate arrest, and everybody's like, no, listen, that's a bit flimsy, you have to explain to us. So she explains like her train of thought that we've just gone through and to but they have to go, they're like, listen, we're not just going to arrest her, we'll go search for her and question her and whatnot. They search the camp. This all happens very quickly, like the last paragraph. They search the camp, but they all have already traveled right out of there. Halima, Delana, and some other serving women were seen with like bundles running after Halima to the traveling grounds, and they have fucking done the Russian farewell dance, and they are out of there and disappeared. The end. That wasn't so bad. You could figure out where I was going.
So bad. Couple names there you just had to look up again. But
like
that's
Delana, I forgot 5 times, but anyway.
Huge event here. Halima finally found out.
Figured out.
Finally.
It reminds me of Zap Brannigan. If we hit that bullseye, the rest of the dominoes will fall like a house of cards. Checkmate.
Checkmate. Oh yeah, I'm just glad that we don't have to like sit through any more like Halima. And I mean, it wasn't even that bad. Like all the like massaging and the headaches and stuff, I remembered it being much more protracted and drawn out and stuff than what the actual experience was reading at this time.
Well, we were talking about that earlier with the listener contributions about like why hasn't Egwene put 2 and 2 together? Like she doesn't have headaches anymore, like that throwaway line. She's got a lot on her plate. That's not. She's just glad she doesn't have headaches and moving on with trying to save the world.
And she's had headaches before, like headaches are a thing that people get. If her hands were turning blue, she might be a bit more invested,
Yeah.
What else, Vil? What else you got there that Joe covered or did not cover?
To add, I think Jody's done a really good job of that chapter.
So
of fun and Romanda's and Little Lane's.
So much pressure on me after such a long break. Feels like that first episode all over again.
I mean, much like the intro and the callbacks and stuff is hard for me to get into a flow as well. Okay, well, I've got, unsurprisingly, a smattering of little tidbits and things that I pulled out here. Another Aes Sedai needing to escape Farmadding. Romanda's maid had helped her get out after a, quote, slight misunderstanding during her retirement. So Romanda had to escape Farmadding as well. So just like Viren.
Well, Farmadding is not a friendly place towards channelers, so...
It's not, eh?
Escaping is probably the only way channelers get out of there. Or
if you're channeler or a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Romanda allows herself a grudging respect for Egwene, which is awesome to hear from her POV. And she also thinks how the council that they'd set up to control her had little to no restraining effect on Egwene. Nope. Egwene gonna Egwene. They also mention here that, or Romanda remarks that in the last 2 weeks they got 50 more novices.
Oh, wow.
50 more in 2 weeks. I mean, they are really cranking up the numbers.
Remember that number
amazing.
when we get to my chapter. It's telling.
Yeah, but maybe they're also getting them because they're trying to go to the tower, and they can't get through. So, sweet,
But they
yoink, these are ours.
Going and getting.
Surely some of them were on their way to the tower and were just yoinked up by the rebels.
Maybe.
Oh, let's give the benefit of the doubt that one went there and was waylaid by.
Billy's giving me one. Thanks, Billy.
Saroya, who's an Aes Sedai that opposes the bonding of the Ashaman, was sent by her Arjahed to the rebels to keep an eye on things and manipulate matters, right? So this is part of that Arjahed scheme to have sitters in with the rebels so that they can easily reunify when they come back. Faisal, also sent by her Arjahed as part of their scheme to retain some control over the rebels, is also a person that resists here. They are both instructed to try to impede anything the rebels try to do that doesn't seem to line up with tower goals. So here we see them doing exactly that. They're both like anti that. But they both remain sitters after the tower is reunited because they were sitters sent from the tower. And when they're reunited, Egwene gives the seats to the previous sitters back again. Which is pretty cool, but that is all from me. So now, unless there's anything else you want to raise, Vil, let's get into probably my most anticipated chapter since events like the cleansing of Sidene and Dumai's wells and the battle of the two rivers. Like for me, this is like Egwene's like battle, and like we said in the intro here, is encapsulated nicely in a single chapter here. It bleeds out into others as well, but this chapter carries the brunt of that. It basically it serves as like a montage, of Egwene winning people over. And that chapter is chapter 24, and it's called Honey in the Tea. Vil, can you please tee up a recap?
Oh, 5 out of 10. Yes, I can. Very excited. We are in the point of view of Egwene. We are in the tower, as we know, where she's a captive, and it is in the morning. She starts her morning with embracing her badges. She gets a new badge every single morning, and there are plenty of badges on offer. Mo, you've got young girls in Australia. You probably watch Dougie with them. Hey, Dougie. And he hands out badges. Yes. Today we're going to get a camping badge. She's watching Dougie every morning, except it's not one badge a day. It's between 3 and 5 a day. And badges, I mean hidings and embracing pain and all the rest. Slappings.
We figured.
Yes. She is starting to understand her Ale teaching every day a little bit more and more of embracing pain and drinking it in. Sylviana acknowledges that Leanne is who she is, which is a big step up. There's a lot of truth that's been told by Egwene, and she's also now allowed to go and visit her where she's in the open cells, which sounds a lot better than the dungeons. So Egwene's name is entered into the book as she leaves the room, and then without courtesying and all the rest just gets added in for future strappings again. So she leaves. Guess who's outside? queuing up for her own strappings. Elviaran. As Egwene leaves, she sees her there, and as she's down the hallway, she starts to hear her howling, not quite keeping the composure as she is being put to the slipper or strap or whatever. Breakfast will be followed after a quick face wash and composure of the tears. Egwene walks into a room filled with over 100 novices. 102 to be exact. Very empty tower. That is a quarter of the available space for novices. They are only filling the one breakfast room, and there's another identical one with kitchen that's closed.
Doesn't Egwene's army have like 1,000 of them by now?
They will overflow all the accommodation. They'll basically.
And I'm creating a callback for myself now.
Put a pin in it. Now, Nicola sees her entering and nudges the rest of them. That's when Carmen, can't remember, handwriting terrible, tries, Carinian, sorry, now I remembered what I wrote here. Carinian Alvestier then tries to trip Egwene, who gathers herself and doesn't quite fall over. And she has a little schoolyard quib at her, like, oh, you won't tell nobody won't say anything. And she's like, wow, you're starting off your career as an Aes Sedai with lies when you know our whole thing is not lying. And the shame washes over her. Laras is still in the kitchen, and she's directing the flow of people, as it is service at the moment in a restaurant. Many orders got to go, and the majority of these orders are going via Uber Eats upstairs and directly to Aja quarters. No one's coming down, no one's mingling, and no one's sitting in for breakfast, lunches, or dinners at the moment. It's a sad state of affairs, and it fills Egwene with sadness to see this happening. Egwene does not stand to take her dinner. She will sit down, no matter how much she's reminded of that slipper ring, and she welcomes the prey and lets it in. Katerina Al-Rudden is her escort for that morning after breakfast, and she gives her fork root tea in a very horrible drink this type of way. It's just enough to allow her to trickle a little bit. And it's the moment where Egwene is then told to go to first class. She doesn't courtesy and all the rest. And Katerina Al-Rudden takes it into her own to punish her with many blows. And it's there where one of the other Red Sisters intervenes. Like, this is not the way. We're not here to punish people. Like, one is enough, but 3 in a row, not right. Egwene sits into a novice class where an accepted is starting a lesson and wants to belittle Egwene a little and say, oh, let's see if she can make a ball of fire. So Egwene rolls her eyes, a ball of fire, and she makes one green ball. And then, very good release. But Egwene's like, nah, I feel like playing juggling. And she proceeds to make 6 more balls, mirroring every single color of the different houses, Ajas, in the tower. All 7 balls, not 6, like Elaida's tower.
6 more.
Yeah, 6 more, 7 in total, with the red being the last one, her least favorite. But then starts with the red first and adds a ring of fire around them, like a little electron going around an atom, and then also proceeds to, make them dance around. 14 flows divided on fork root with very minimal power, and the poor accepted does not know what to do. She cried stop several times, and with that, of course, Katerina Al-Rudden comes in, and what's going on here, and she won't stop, and more penances is handed out, and this is where she's told to go to Sylviana, and also gets that blows that make a stagger from Katerina Al-Rudden. It wasn't after breakfast, correct myself there. Egwene enters Sylviana's rooms, office, study. Yeah, I was looking for that word, study. And she's like, "What? So soon? All right, well, let's get on with it." 2 more classes, resulting in 2 more visits. We are seeing a pattern developing by our girl. Resistance will be kept but met with slippers continuously. It gets to the point where they now realize that they're going to beat her and she's going to lose her skin. So now they're going to have to heal her between all of her punishments, something the Aiel did not do during hard work and labor. Soon they realized being taught by helpless, accepted is not going to work for this girl, and her teaching is now left one-on-one by Aes Sedai. So the sisters have accepted this, but not quite stoked about it. Always in the various Arjas quarters. So Egwene is now moving between all the quarters and to every Aes Sedai that she used to have classes with, which gives her opportunity, I would say. That evening, Egwene visits Leanne, who is under guard. Same still being kept with a watered down fork root and also being shielded in the evenings. At that point in time, there's 2 brown sisters there. It's a very happy meeting. She's in pretty comfortable lodging, almost acceptable for being in prison, if you want to look at it that way. She's also very popular. She has had a steady stream of visitors from every Arja, of course, except the Red, all wanting to find out the same thing. How do you travel? And no one gets to learn it. There's no plan, Egwene informs her, of escape. They are where they need to be, and explains to her the new plan of attack, so to speak, for them both being in the tower. Larsus. Next one-on-one with Benin, I think.
I don't know. You tell me.
And in a sitting room, and Egwene is having his weave lesson first, and she quickly realizes that the brown sister, that is, there's not much in ways of teaching her anything about the weaves. She's got this. It's way above her, and decides, well, at least you can learn some histories. Tell me about Shine's mistakes. And that's where Egwene goes, and she cracks her knuckles and sits down. It's like, let's go. And she's like, well, there's not very many mistakes. And it opens a door to give a complete different story to what this brown sister believes. And she's like, whoa. And she's like, oh, but haven't you? Oh, no, you would not have known there's a 13th. There's a depository.
With suppository.
The suppository.
13's a bit much.
Trap is always there.
But no, Egwene informs her that yes, there's many things that happened, and it altogether 6 different mutinies in the history of the tower that very few sisters know about it. But if you go in there, and you'll see there's few things, and including the law, of course, about keeping it secret. So perhaps you can ask some sisters and find which really is a planted seed, specifically around the whole story of Shine, and how poor decision making by leadership, both on Aes Sedai sitters and on Aes Sedai in the past, have caused mutiny or overthrowing of power that gets buried and kept secret. No one wants to allow the truth of their failures to be present in history. So the secret histories has been exposed, and she walks out, and for her this is a big win. seed planted, happy. The trend continues, some successful, some not so. Lorene let slip of Rand's kidnapping plan by Elaida. So Egwene is getting little tidbits that what's been happening out of a tower perspective while no one was there, and Elaida has taken over. Bratella, not so much. She is a yellow, and she is giving her a lesson in the limits of the power, but that lesson ended quite early with a visit to Sylviana's study. Sarancha, sister that is described to be pinched in every fashion, was a total failure. She left there with 4 pages of things that she should be punished for, a painful experience. Adalorna has heard she made trouble. Yes, she does. That lesson had earned her spankings with the back of a brush. Don't even sent away, just like, I'll just do it myself. And at the end, wishes that Catswain was there to try and break this young girl's spirit. No, Catswain's on the other team at the moment, so learning to be happen.
Adalorna is the head of the Green Archer.
Sylviana, the visits are now so numerous that it's now earned her more healings during the day. It's like, okay, wow. Like, geez,
can't keep up.
Just can't keep up with all of this. The novices' attitudes have started shifting towards Egwene. Nicola has been telling overinflated tales of her bravery and heroics all around the tower, and a lot of them is now trying to do the same thing. It lasted a couple of days, and then that was stilled by the slipper very quickly, as they learned that they do not have the spine or the will or the mental, what's the word I'm looking for?
Fortitude.
Oh, that's a good one. We'll take that. Fortitude to survive what Egwene is busy surviving on a day-to-day basis. But she still does not form any friendships with any of the novices. Being in role, she is the mother. No friendship here, but there'll be compassion, teaching, and advice.
Yeah.
As she, where was I? Sorry, yeah. But yes, she's giving the novices, when they seek advice, one-on-one advice, very freely and with great wisdom. And all of them start referring to her as the mother. It's not just mother, the mother. There is the same changes in the tower, ghosts, changing hallways, stairways disappearing. And this got a whole lot of them into a fit on one afternoon, crying, upset, and the Aes Sedai, I couldn't remember if it was Aes Sedai or an accepted that was taking them to classes, was equally upset, and then took it out on the class because they all don't know what the hell is happening. But Egwene just spins it like, isn't this just a magical place to be, where you can firsthand experience all of these great things of our world? And it passes on some wisdom and say, like, what did you expect? You're going to be Aes Sedai. Get used to it. Shit happens. Braven up. This is where the number of 102 comes out more or less in the chapter as well. Egwene also has got the scrubbing of pots as part of a continuous penance. So many pots. And what happens when novices get in there to scrub pots is that the other workers tend to play tricks and shit on them. And Laris is not having any of it. Like, she may be here to do what needs to be done, but you guys will not be doing any shit to Egwene. So there's a level of protection, and Egwene sees this as a possible strong ally for her as well, and just banks that in her head. There's only 31 accepted in the tower.
Yeah.
A very low number. That's, yes, terrible.
Laughable.
And they receive Egwene in various ways, some with some disdain, and others just observe what is happening around it. But the interactions are becoming less and less as the Aes Sedai are taking over. Egwene has also been tasked to attending various sisters and sitters, which allows her almost a position of spying. They don't always watch their mouth, we've learned before.
No.
When novices attending them, they tend to speak freely, and that gives her a lot of opportunity to learn things. Even that there was a plot to take down the Black Tower. Very interesting stuff. They often speak of Rand. There's often discussions about Rand, which gives her information around where he is, more or less, and what they know. Every so often, she would just drop a little seed when she sees a crack. Again, mentioning something, just biting time. All you got to wait for is just that little crack, and it's like, I'll pop a little tomato seed. Tomato seeds, they just grow everywhere. If you throw your tomato seeds in the compost, you can just throw the compost and there's tomato plants. This is what she's doing, spreading tomato seeds. One morning she was cleaning a pond when she spots crows in the tower ground. And she's like, wow, this is not good. Wards, crows, ravens, rats should not be there. It's very, very distressing at that moment. Alviarin appears while she's busy cleaning the pond, and after she spot the crows, because that's kind of the intro to Alviarin. Crows, Alviarin, there they are, together. And as she has appeared, she comes up to Egwene and she's like, oh my, you have fallen. But Egwene cuts off and it's like, I'm not the only one pot calling the kettle, you know.
I hear you wailing.
Yep, I hear you wailing. Alviarin then offers Egwene a way of escape, but Egwene is not biting, and she wants to bring in the contents of that letter that she wrote to Rand Alviarin, but decides like, nah, that's too good. Got to keep that for later, because once you use that, you can't use it again. And every time since then, Alviarin has approached her several times. She always says, I'm content with my situation, because she's brave. She's strong.
Exactly where she wants to be.
Exactly. One day while she's on her hands and knees scrubbing tiles, she hears footsteps coming and sees a shiny set of black shoes in its Matum Stepaneus that is being escorted and, in commas, chaperoned by Cariandre, who says, no, ignore that one. She's just a much punished novice. But he's like, nah, I've heard she's from the same town as Rand al'Thor. I want to speak to her. And eventually goes up to him, and Egwene's like, oh, Matin Stepaneos, it's nice to be kept prisoner by the Reds, isn't it? And he is like, whoa, that's quite direct. But she says, you look well for a kidnapped man, Matum. And Matum's version is recited by him as he has been coached by the Red. And as he says it, you can almost see Cariandra like, that's how you need to say it. But Egwene corrects the narrative to him and gives him the reality of the situation. No, those murders that you hear of is not true. Morghese was not murdered. Who hung herself?
Coriander, what was her name? That hanged herself?
I wanted to say Caroline Damodred, but that's not her.
No, that's
Colivier.
Colivier.
Colivier, Coriander. I can see the connection there, Joe. Colivier hung herself. Well known and well accepted now. Both the Sun Throne and the Lion Throne is for Elaine to take over, and Rand is not in a mad rush, power hungry, murderous grab. you are listening to the wrong side of the story. And if you put that together with the fact that you only ever see red sisters around you, you're being hidden from the truth. Deep cracks with very fertile soil opens up, and she plants not one seed, just a good couple of seeds right there and then.
Just seeds everywhere, just flying.
Just going. Like, it's like the hands sowing them. Yes, enough seeds, and even the words out of the book is enough seeds will bring down the ground, crack the ground below Elaida's feet. One morning, Egwene is doing her tasks when she spots, guess who? Bjornen, the traitor. You betrayed me, she shouts at her. You must be Black Argyre. And it's like, whoa, penny drop. You don't call a sister Black Argyre in the tower. And whoever was accompanying Bjornen was like, we need to deal with it. And she's like, no, I'll deal with it myself. You can move on. And she takes the opportunity to explain her position of the oath. And the truth is a person's truth that they hold at the end of the day is what I'm writing here. Your version of the truth is your truth. So that's kind of what Bjornen is saying. Egwene, it's like, no, this is not going to slide like this. Firstly, you, what have you told them? Like, trying to fish out first, and very quickly puzzles out that she had given up the ferrets, all 10 of them. And she pushes her to like, right, okay, so you informed only 2 of them that they've been outed, but you're allowing Elaida now to play cat with the mouse games with the other 8. And she issues her straight up with a penance. Firstly, you're going to fix this by warning all of the ferrets. Consider this your penance, and then that oath is sworn. And if you don't, I might just start speaking myself about sworn oaths. So she's got Bjornen very much in and back under her thumb, where she belongs. And at the end of that discussion, Bjornen says, I will do as you say, and adds to it, it's going to be really good to see Elaida get dragged down.
Yeah, Bjornen isn't necessarily like under Egwene's thumb again. She's kind of come back, you know, like after being here and seeing what Elaida's doing. There's a point where I think Egwene accuses her of betraying the ferrets, and then Bjornen goes, I haven't betrayed, and she can't, like, the words, like the oath.
She couldn't speak
so
it.
she's basically admitting that she did betray the ferrets. And she sort of reluctantly is like, yeah, no, you're right. It's going to be good to see Elaida come down.
Which is also a good sign for Egwene, knowing that she's not black, because she couldn't lie.
Yes.
So like an immediate logic checks her off. There. She does that logic check, and so okay, cool, 1 and 1 does make 2 and not 11. So let's carry on. That night she goes and sees Leanne again, who is guarded by 3 white sisters, who is in a deep argument about points of logic. Very deep, very robust, very
boring.
Egwene tells her that she saw Bjornen and everything that she's done, and keeps saying that there's something she's missing. Like, there's something in this puzzle about the betrayal that is not falling in place, because she doesn't believe that Bjornen is the one that betrayed her and Leanne. So there's something she's just not seeing, but she's so tired and she needs to go to bed. And also gets told by one of those very agitated white sisters, look at you, just time to go before more penances get handed out.
Yeah.
And that's when something clicks in her. She's like, all these sisters that keep coming to you, are they still coming to you asking the same thing? And Leanne is like, yes. And that is, can you teach us traveling? And that's when it all snaps. Like, Elaida's, if she's learned it, she's holding it all for herself. And then it realizes all the healing she's been receiving is old-time healing. So she has not handed over a bunch of the weaves and a bunch of the stuff that they have learned. The next morning, same old routine, healing, tea, reaffirming all the suspicions now start coming, and then she bumps into Doyasine, who says to her, "You don't have any intention of surrender at all, do you?" And she's like, "Nope." She's like, "All right. Sylviana for you, thank you." Another strapping. No flinching. She's accepted it. She is super calm. It is now. She gets it. Like, everyone is just another battle in this war. Everything is a badge of victory for her. She's starting to really just click everything into place. The demotion of an Aes Sedai to accept it is not in the law, and becomes a bit of a robust discussion the one day with Sylviana. Now, this is Shomarin, who Elaida was angry about and just took away her standing as an Aes Sedai to be an accepted again. And Sylviana says, yes, it isn't in the law. It isn't, but it also doesn't say you can't. And her acceptance of it has now set precedent, which is, and turns out to the reason why she ran away. So she's a runaway, runaway accepted, but truly actually an Aes Sedai.
A lot of parallels with the real world there. I'll just take the authority to do that. Yep. Oh, no one's going to
stop me.
Push back against that? Cool. I guess this is the new rule then.
There we go. Wow. It's fantasy always becomes reality at the end of the day.
Life imitating art.
When she walks to breakfast and enters the room, all of the novices stand up in unison. Scraping of the floor, quiet. Before she can get to go and get breakfast, breakfast is taken to an empty spot for her, where it's placed for her and courtesied to her by one of the novices. A pillow is waiting for her to sit on. She politely moves the pillow and sits down.
So badass.
She pops a rancid olive in her mouth, flinches at the taste, but still only spits out the pip because she is ravenous. And only then do all of the novices sit down and start having breakfast, and the chattering starts humming again in the breakfast table. And she realized that all of these little battles has now won her the war. She is winning the war. End of chapter and start of Goosebumps. So good.
Right, can we all just safely say that when you ask us to pick a favorite moment, all of us were going to choose something from this chapter, correct?
Spoiler alert, I picked the whole chapter. Okay, so before I start my Egwene love fest and my continued enjoyment and reveling in the subject matter covered here, Joe, did you have anything you wanted to say before?
I just wanted to say,
tirade.
Poor Sylviana. I think she's going to need healing every morning because that's tennis elbow. She's going to develop joint issues.
Yes,
all the
totally.
snacking. She's going to need her own little bit of healing.
At the beginning of the chapter, she says to Egwene, "I doubt I'll see you again soon."
Yeah, lol.
And immediately, oh wait,
multiple times a day, every day. Yeah.
You can carry on.
So, cool. Thanks. So Gwen's doing a couple different things here, right? Like, she is winning the novices over to her side, which is how it sort of starts and ends again. Which is amazing. Like, just that little logic judo that she does with that girl that tries to trip her, and she's like, so you want to be an Aes Sedai, yet you want others to lie on your behalf. Do you see any inconsistency in that? And she's like, who are you to lecture me? And her response is, I'm the Amelin seat.
Yeah. Dumb question. Who am I?
As if you didn't know. And then to have that last page, like all of them, it's also like the Aes Sedai happen to not be looking into the hall or something when Egwene walks in, like they're in conversation outside, because all the novices will actually get in trouble for this, as you can imagine, right? Like this is like also not a small thing. This is all of the novices all standing up at once. And I think she even mentions like the scraping of benches and stuff. You can imagine like when a teacher walks into a hostel, dining room, and like they all just go quiet and stand up. And then for Egwene to like go and sit at the pillow and toss the pillow aside, like, I don't need this, it's just so good. So that's the first thing she's doing. She's winning the novices over to her. Then all the seed planting that Willie was talking about is so good, and how she even uses Leanne to do it as well, like feeding Leanne stuff to go. And then the moment she has some successes with some of the Aes Sedai, she knows, okay, cool, this is going to have an effect. Like some of them don't write her up for not curtsying when she leaves because, they're too deep in thought about this thing that she's just said to them. When she encounters Bienin, also like immediately just starts giving her orders. Not just that, setting her a penance. Here she is lugging buckets of water and stuff around. Like, consider this a penance, Bienin. Now, you will do this thing. And then Bienin's like, okay, I guess. Sure. So she's winning them over. And then like even getting in Matt and Stepanios' ear, not breaking, but like, resisting the mistress of the novices and all the beating. So like proving to herself that she can do it. She has this moment where she starts laughing. And then she's like drying her eyes, and Sylviana's like, have I said something funny? She's like, no, I've just come to a realization, she realizes, this is nothing. She even thinks at the beginning of the chapter that embracing the pain like the Aiel would be the easiest part of her captivity. That part, that I can deal with. The hard part's going to be convincing these Aes Sedai, and then just like goes about her business. And the progression that you see, like how, first she torments the accepted so much that immediately like, okay, well, accepted can't teach you. You have to get classes with Aes Sedai, which is something that only happens for accepted. So like she's on day one, the Aes Sedai having to break their own rules to accommodate the situation that they've created. So it is just like, she is just pushing back on literally every single thing and coming out trumps on top of all of that. Then supporting the novices when they're scared, giving them advice like an Amelin would, like just doing all the stuff that the Aes Sedai are currently not doing. And you can see like in this single chapter how RJ has given you enough to go, okay, cool. What does she do with this? She is now actually wielding some level of power in this captive situation, and it's just one chapter of it, right? And you are convinced, like you can read it and you can't go like, oh no, that's a bit far-fetched. I mean, some of it is a bit, but like it is timed in such a way, and the pace of it is such a way that you're like, oh, okay, cool, here's another little victory, and then by the end of it you're like, fuck, she is dominating this place. No one can tell her anything. Like even the punishments they use are not enough to keep her down, which is just so good. Even Laras, like looking out for her.
Yeah, good old Laras. And that juxtaposition with Elaida. Like Elaida has like literally and figuratively moving herself further and further away from the Aes Sedai and the novices and the accepted. And there's leaving this massive gap for Egwene to exploit.
Yes.
She's at the top of the tower.
She's no clue.
Yeah. She has no idea. Like her withdrawing from the tower the way she has, Elaida, she has lost control of everything that's happening below her. She doesn't care.
Completely ostracized herself.
And we'll touch on some other issues that she's having in a moment.
Yes, and in some ensuing chapters, I think. Anyway, this is obviously really great. Let me see if there's any little... I had to make a note for myself. Stop calling out every defiant thing Egwene does or says in this chapter, because it'll take up all your notes. Yeah. She is like also quite wise, obviously, for her years. Remember, she is still quite young. But that part where after she was at Sylviana's study and she goes to wash her face before going to breakfast, she thinks to herself, when you don't have many weapons, your appearance could be one. So just appearing a certain way, she is using to her advantage, which is just great. There's a moment with Katrin, which is doubly good because Katrin is Black Archer. Like, Egwene drinks the fork root and hands the cup back to Katrin and then walks off, and Katrin doesn't have time enough to go, I'm not going to take your cup. She's like, she's left standing with the cup. It's just another great one. So good. Okay, what else did I have here? I've got the accepted being embarrassed. Egwene seems to have no concept of Rand's kidnapping. So this is maybe some of the stuff she's picking up, Vil, from some of those conversations you said she was overhearing stuff. So she's like, she hears about this kidnapping, but
plan.
Yeah, she doesn't know anything about that. I had some stuff here about Lorene Doirellin. She's one of the Aes Sedai that does not take very kind. I think she's the one that sends Egwene out again with like a long list of transgressions and stuff that she needs to be punished for. She was exiled along with Tsutama and Tovine after the vileness, so she's a red. Like the two other sisters punished and unchaired along with her, Lorene has two major passions: a hatred for men who can channel, and a desire for revenge on those who caused her downfall and suffering, as well as those who had abandoned her. The second passion even greater than the first. And then moreover, Lorene has a third passion: hatred for those who rose because of their downfall. So those include the three red sitters that replaced them, Galina Casban, who became the highest of the red and never helped the three former sitters, and Elaida herself, as she was not punished despite being involved in the gentling, and even was elected Amilin. So she had hated the other two sisters unchaired with her, Tutama and Tovine as well. So like this Lorene chick is just here for revenge, and it's going to be interesting to see if she actually succeeds, if we see her actually act against them at all.
Well, there's another tool for Egwene, the enemy of my enemy, kind of. So.
Exactly. The Aes Sedai whose name you couldn't remember, Vil, is Bene. She's the one that's told the truth about Shane Chunla and about the existence of the 13th Depository. So she scolds Egwene about this, but she's obviously intrigued by it. Like Egwene can tell she's already thinking about it when she answers like haphazardly about something later. Later on, this Aes Sedai, Bene, lands in trouble after asking around about the 13th Depository, and then she comes back to Egwene for a solution out of her predicament, which Egwene then does give her, like how to explain how she found out about the depository and how to... and then later she offers for this person to become one of the 13th Depository's guardians and librarians to help protect its secret and to assure that the Brown Arja leadership that there was no security leaks. And Bene actually tilts her head in thanks to Egwene and suggests that Egwene join the Brown Arja.
So good.
Quite a compliment. Adalorna, like I said, is the head of the Green Arja. When Alviarin orders Elaida to have Adalorna and Josane punished for secretly holding Ungreal in their rooms, it becomes a dark period of suspicion and infighting among the Aes Sedai still in the White Tower. So Adalorna is the one that also thinks, oh man, I wish Cadsuane was here. I think she would find you a challenge. It's because she's thinking two other powerful greens. It's because she's green and Cadsuane was green. There's a mention of, I think it's Nicola who was telling stories about Egwene, basically equating her to Amoresu and the Sword of the Sun. Amoresu is one of the heroes of the Horn. She's a female champion of the light and a counterpart to the dragon. She is not explicitly mentioned or shown as being present when Mat blows the horn of Valyr at Falme, but Mat recalls the name and her presence there only later when he recognizes Birgitte Silverbow. When Olva blows the horn of Valyr, Amoresu is called forth with the other heroes. She chastises Mat for having constant doubts about Rand's sanity and that he owes Lews Therin his life twice over. So Amoresu, who's this like mythical character, actually has speaking lines and stuff to Mat in the last book. And then I just had a note about Egwene being like the Amilin for the novices, you know, like opening the novice book to the older women, you know, providing all the support, and just being really cool with novices in general, using them obviously later in that Seanchan attack, like linking with the novices. It's them that she uses to like create a powerful circle to you know, cast lightning at the Seanchan. It's just cool, like her link to the novices is cool. She's always, you know, pulling them up, which is cool. When Mat and Stepanios, you know, leaves the presence of Egwene, or she's eventually sent off, and that Aes Sedai tells him, don't worry, she's just another novice that's, you know, been set some chores. He says to her, I think not. Or like, are you sure she's just another novice? Because she does not seem like just another novice. So even old Matten can see that. And then my very last note is just page 551, which is that whole scene of Egwene coming into the dining hall and all the novices standing up and stuff. But I won't go through that. There is one note though. Melivere's reaction to Egwene accusing Bianan of being Black Arja. So that's the Aes Sedai that's with Bianan when she goes, so you broke your oath, you must be Black Arja. Melivere's reaction is to even mention such things, which just gives you another glimpse at like how oblivious the Aes Sedai are. They cannot even say the words Black Arja, let alone root them out and, expose them and try them and kill them and all that sort of stuff. So like, yeah, you just get another reminder, all this Black Arja hunting stuff is still super cloak and dagger because no one is willing to even admit its existence, which is pretty cool.
In future chapters, then now that you mention it, we find out that the only people still hunting the Black Arja is Elaine and Nynaeve. They were sent out of the tower as accepted to go and hunt Black Arja. The only Black Arja hunter still. No one.
And the ladies in the tower, right? Yukiri and I think Dosine is one of them. And,
I forgot about that.
Siane and Shireen, whatever. Who's the other one? I think... is Adalorna is also one of them or something? I don't know. Can't remember. Okay, that concludes my gushing over honey in the tea. Now crashing back down to reality, let's move on to chapter 25 called Attending Elaida. Attend us now, Joe, and please give us a summary.
Well, let's just pop through this at a rapid pace. We're back with Tana Fear, who is the new keeper.
Mm-hmm.
As you can know, you can't. Older what's her face, the Black Arja, is now getting some spankings, so she needed a new one. So she's making her way up to making her way up the 1,000 steps to Elaida's apartment in the Golden Tower, and taking the back stairs as well. She doesn't want to run into anybody because there's so much tension in the tower between all the Arjas, so everyone's feeling it. She's feeling it too. She's spoken to Pavara about the bond, that proposal to bond the Ashman. I don't even remember that chapter. I'm assuming we've read about it and spoken about it. And she's trying to make like a short list of Red Sisters who she can actually trust, who won't immediately run to Elaida and ruin the whole plan and fuck everything up because Elaida is very unstable. Getting unstabler by the day. Tana goes into the sitting room. She finally arrives at her destination. And it's a pretty awkward scene with Maidani there, who's the Grey Sister, who we know is a rebel spy and who's been told to rekindle her friendship with Elaida. But Elaida's onto her already, knowing that she's going to use her, but she doesn't know that she's such a big part of the plot against her. She just realizes, she's going to use her to send back to go and fuck with people. So
Bianan told Elaida that she's a ferret.
All right.
She betrayed all of them.
Yeah, that bloody Bianan. Keep forgetting about how many things she betrayed.
That's why she starts toying with Maidani, because now she knows, you were sent here to spy and cause dissent. Okay, well, now I'm going to fuck with you.
Yes, but she's not smart enough, unfortunately. Yeah, again, Tana's not very stoked. She thinks that these pillow friends nonsense must end when your novice days end. Deny yourself your whole life. Elaida thinks she's being this masterful manipulator, and Maidani is pretty scared because she's in a very tough situation, and Elaida is making her even more afraid. She's also day drinking. It's like the middle of the morning. She's already well into her, I would love to say 7th or 8th wine.
She's well into a flagon of red wine.
Yeah. She's just got a pup suck there under a pillow.
Goon bag.
Bogan briefcase.
Yeah. Every country, and I'm sure that you all have your own equivalent for that. Yeah, so Elaida's angry. She eventually dismisses her pillow friend, Maidani, and she's chatting to Tarna as well, and she's very upset with how the progress of the repairs to the port are going. So that everybody's working against her. She's getting super paranoid. Like everybody's joined forces against her. There's conspiracies, and the ways that she's going to handle this is she's going to have all the sitters birched until they do what she says. It's like, yeah, that worked out for you. You think that's gonna work, are you? But Tana's not one to argue. She's learned very quickly that with this Amyrlin, you just say, okay, crazy person, we'll do whatever you say, because it's only going to end badly for you.
Yeah.
She tries to suggest delicacy, of course, but then she quickly shuts that down. And finally, Elaida remembers that Egwene Alvier is also in there, is in the tower, playing novice, because, of course, she has not read the previous chapters. She does not know what's going on. And she's just thinking this brat is going to get tamed very quickly by Sylviana's strap. And then she's like, you know what? I'll start fucking with her too. Why don't you order her to come and serve supper for me and Maidani tonight? So Tana's like, okay, we could do that, I suppose. Unaware, of course, about what is happening downstairs amongst the novices and this kick-ass woman. That's basically what happens over there in that part of the story. And then we pop over to Matt's point of view. He is on his way. Now, remember, he's separated from the traveling circus. And he's now with Tuon and the others. And they're trying to get out of Altara. So they've stopped in this like little, I don't know, break in the woods, a little meadow to have some lunch. Tuon is up to something with Selucia. There's lots of hand chatting going on and laughing. Matt, of course, doesn't know what's going on, but Satel's there as well. She's like, yeah, they're probably insulting you. That's what I figured as well from what's going on over there.
Safe bet.
You are also correct in some regards. There's a little bit more going on, as we find out later. Noel is over there. He's also with them, and over him, of course, playing snakes and foxes. That's all they ever do. Aes Sedai, we got to remember, are there with their warders as well. And there's Bethaman and Seta, and Bethaman is like coming around, and she's learning how to channel. So they're kind of teaching her some stuff. They won't teach Seta because she's too old to be a novice. The usual. And also not very strong in the power. So they're like, yeah, never mind. We'll just leave her alone. Teslin's just completely out. You know, Jolene and Edicina are like, they're coming around a bit. But Teslin is like, forget it. She's out completely. Yeah. Matt has still got some wounds from that fight where he had in that town, Madarin or something. And Tuon thinks he's an idiot for not accepting healing from the Aes Sedai, and he's like, not a chance an Aes Sedai is touching me with any kind of power. What do you think I got this fox head for? There's a bit of a scream. Amathera screams, and they see a snake, like a massive snake, in the camp. Julian runs after it to kill it, and Matt tells me, no, let it go. And then Tuon's like, that's a bit weird that you'd let a snake go. Like, what kind of snake is that? Is it poisonous? And he's like, yeah, those ones are pretty poisonous. She's like, well, isn't that interesting? I'm wondering if this is a cue for her, because it's another one of her, I don't know.
It is. She says it.
No. All right. Like I said, read these chapters many weeks ago. So she says, well, I think it's time for our first kiss for a man who lets poisonous snakes go. So he's like, oh, okay. And like, in front of everyone? It's like, yes. What are you afraid of? So he's like, all right, leans in, gives her a little kiss, and she's like, oh, I didn't realize I was your mother. And he's like, all right, fine, I'll give you a proper Matt kiss. And this time he grabs her. I don't know what position they get into. But yeah, it's a toe-curling kiss. He gives her a thorough working over. And when she comes out of it, she's like, whoa, okay. In her mind, I imagine going, this is a pretty good kiss. But still playing it cool on the outside. So yeah, their first kiss. It happened. Yeah, in the field, in front of everybody, and a not very happy... I forgot her name again.
Selucia.
Yes, there she is, Selucia. Lots of notes and lots of confusion. The argument, there's a bit of a thing between the two of them, a tiff between the two of them, but it's interrupted because Harnan announces that some riders are approaching. It's our old mate Talmanes. We haven't seen him in a while. No. And Chal Vannon is back as well. Matt's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And also, what's happening? Did you get Egwene away from those Aes Sedai? Did you rescue her? Is she with the band? Like, what's going on? He's like, no. Egwene is still Amyrlin's seat. And the Aes Sedai have traveled to Tar Valon. Like, she's out of our reach. She's gone, bro. Like, she's 100% the Amyrlin. He's like, really? Just not really. But still not.
You don't even know half of it, man.
Yeah. Teslin hears this as well. She's like, hey, what? Egwene, the ambulance seat that runaway accepted? It's like, she doesn't believe it either. Matt tells her, like, listen, bugger off. I'm chatting to my man here. We'll talk to you later about all of this. Talmanes gives him the lowdown. Basically, he left the band in Murandy. And also, it's growing in size. I didn't write it down, but it's like 5 fists, or whatever you call them now, where there used to be 3 or 2. So it's almost doubled, more than doubled in size. Even when he's not there, these guys are just legendary. So, and Matt's like, how the hell are we expected to pay for all of these things? It's like, there's only so many dice games I could play for money, but I can't afford this massive army. He's like, no, don't worry about it. We have a deal with King Rodrin. And it's like that whole thing that happened there on that frozen lake many, many moons ago when he left. He made a deal with King Rodrin, who's giving them money to basically protect his kingdom while his army has been non-existent. So they got the money for it.
Rodrin was not at the lake, but that's where Talmanes tells Egwene that he's going to take up a contract because Rodrin had offered him some money. And I think one of our listeners wrote in, might have been Ian Yellen, to say that the king didn't need the band to be his army. They needed the threat of the band to be able to unite their own people under the king. Because Murandy is just like all these fiefdoms, like all these individual lords with their own power. Exactly. So he was using the band to consolidate power. And paid them for it.
Yeah. So he was like, sweet. So don't worry, everything works out. Hey, Matt's luck, even when he's not around, is lucky.
Topped up. Handsomely.
Yeah.
So Talmanes says as well, they're talking about what's happening and what he's seen on his journeys, and saying there's like lots of Seanchan camps on his ride down. Like, there's a lot of Seanchan around us. You guys are sitting quite a pickle at the moment. And there's this pass through the mountains that they were using, well, they were planning to use to get out of Altara and into Murandy, because it's the only way, the secret way that Vannon knows, because it's a smuggling route. And now that's blocked by the Seanchan. There's no chance in hell. So Matt's like, Vannon, you need to find us another way through these mountains. And he gets on this whole thing about what's new mountains and old mountains, and there's no way. Like, if you enter those mountains now, just trying to find another route, you'll be stuck in there forever. We'll all die in there. We'll never make it out. So we have to come up with another plan. And Matt's like, all right, everybody mount up. We're going to ride anyway in that general direction, and I'll think of something on the way, and we'll make a plan. Don't worry about it. And that's basically the end of that chapter in a swift movement.
Ooh, Joe, there's some stuff coming up that I'll speak for myself, Vil. I don't know. I've actually said it on this podcast before, but when I was reading the Matt chapters in this book, I had completely forgotten about all of this stuff.
How good it is.
It didn't ring any bells.
How you pull a plug out of a wine bottle.
Exactly, like all that stuff.
Get the amber liquid out. It's so.
I've read those chapters. Those chapters.
Have you read all the way to the end?
Not all the way to the end. No, I told you. Okay. Like on chapter 30 or something.
Okay. It's just, it's so cool. It's such a little bonus. Like, for me, it was like no recollection of these chapters at all, and just like such cool shit, like the band just being like super, super good. So that's why some of the listeners had already, like Marlene and I think Levi, had also sent in favorite moments, but were from the chapters coming.
When he gets back to the camp and all of that.
Yes. Yeah. All that. Tion realizing who she's dealing with. Yeah.
Oh, she's like, oh shit, he's not just some scoundrel toy, some. No. But yeah, that's good shit for another day.
Yes, the next episode, I think.
Sweet.
Vil, did you have anything to add about either Elaida or Matt and reuniting?
Absolutely
with
nothing to add about Elaida. I think her insanity speaks for herself. But this nice little Matt section, they've broken away. They're like this, the first solo little run of the posse that's got them together. Yeah. But Vannon, it's just his interactions through this. Yeah, his explanation about how many men they'll lose trying to forge a path through new mountains. It's just not going to happen. And then always spitting through the gap in his teeth before he speaks.
And so Matt has to stroke his ego.
Like old mountains being mountains pre-breaking and new mountains are post-breaking mountains.
They sheerly forced up They're not eroded, giving you passage.
Yeah.
It's just sheer cliffs. It's like when Gandalf decides to go over the mountains and the storms and all of that. It's like that bad. Not going to happen.
It is also pretty cool how Matt thinks to himself, like when they left the circus, he gave Petra and his wife some extra cash so that they could buy their inn sooner and retire and stuff. Just Matt being like a cool guy again, just like a fleeting thought, like not taking credit for it or anything, but just like it was just so that they could like get to their inn faster, like. But he gave them a bunch of money. Just Matt being Matt. It's great. He's using Lelwyn's name now. He's not talking about Egwene anymore. Vannon also just like spills the beans to Talmanes about who Tion is. So like when Talmanes comes into camp and Matt notices that Talmanes has been briefed on who this small woman that seems to hold so much power. Vannon can't look him in the eye. He has to look away. Like, oh
pop
yeah,
into that lack of romantic flair by Jody in describing Matt's kiss. Jody, a solid 1 out of 10 for that.
Hey man, I made it as uncomfortable as it was in the scene.
You could have done better. Go watch some Bridgerton or something. Get some romance in your life.
Bridgerton. No thanks.
Just back to Elaida for a sec. When I read the chapter title, Attending Elaida, I was shocked to see that the chapter icon is the dice.
No, it's just for Matt.
It's like, what? Exactly. Well, obviously. But like before I had read the chapter, I turned the page and it's like
so unimportant that they don't even assign
even if the chapter starts with her.
To her. It's just like, no, I mean, we could probably throw the Aes Sedai symbol in there, but Matt's in the chapter, so yeah, let's go with that.
It's fair. They're both in the chapter, so they're both represented in the title. But it was just like, what? Is this a misprint? I thought they were going to have the whole dinner with Maidani and it was going to be a whole big thing, but it wasn't. It was just talking about it, and then Matt's at the end. The one thing I do not have the answer for is when Tana is walking up to Elaida's new study, she's thinking to herself about this like crazy scheme that she's been discussing with Pavara about Red Arja sisters bonding Ashaman as warders because they've got the most experience with men that can channel.
Yeah.
She thinks to herself that she's actually had to take some people's names off a short list that she thought. And there is one remaining name on Tana's list of Reds who could be trusted with bonding Ashaman. But apparently she was impossible for the task. Who is this? Who is Tana thinking of? Because at this point she's had the conversation with Pavara. Pavara, I think, has also already been summoned by Tutama. She and Javindra were sitting with Tutama where Tutama basically gave them the right to do this, and she tells them, don't tell Elaida. This is Arja business. This is not Amarant Seed business.
Yes.
So who is Tana thinking of? Is it maybe also Javindra that happens to be the other person that Tutama had already tasked with?
There's a very small number of Red Arja sisters that
that's the whole point that she's thinking of.
A semblance of sanity, if you want to call it that, or
with whom she can even broach
Arja.
the subject. Yes. I don't think that she thinks there's a lot of Black Arja in the Red.
No, that's just me.
But it is blasphemy to the Reds, right? Like this goes directly against, unless you interpreted the role of the Reds as Pavara and Tana, and obviously Tutama have also interpreted it. But yeah, I was just wondering, like, if you guys knew, like, who is the one name?
Definitely not Catherine Elraden.
I mean, as far as Tana knows, she could think Catherine. She doesn't know that Catherine is Black Arja.
She's too hateful of men, though. Like, she's in one of that.
But I mean, all the Reds, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway,
wondering, this has made me think of another thing. If eventually the Red Arja evolves into the Arja that exclusively bonds male channelers as warders. Like the Greens have multiple warders, that's their thing.
Yes, maybe.
And then the Reds become exclusively men who can channel warders.
Maybe. Let's
The
see if
red
there's any
turns from
hints.
the red
fourth
color
age.
of hatred and blood to the red color of love for the
Color
other
of love.
Romance.
romance and
Of course. And heart-shaped boxes of chocolate.
stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, in all of that awesomeness, did you guys remember to pick a favorite moment that doesn't span an entire chapter like what I did?
Well, in that case, no.
Sure did.
Okay, Phil, what you got?
My favorite moment is not going to span a whole chapter. It's going to be the smallest section of that chapter, and it's the end of that chapter, where Egwene walks in to that sitting at breakfast. And that is just, that moment is just my all-time favorite. In a very quick time, she's just, through sheer discipline and mental rigidity and resilience, have shown, I am your mother. You will address me as the mother without saying a thing to them.
There's another descriptive word that you could throw in there that is pretty prevalent in the old Two Rivers. He's just too stubborn. You guys are trying to squeeze blood from a stone here. It's not going to happen. Yeah, it's great. Eh? Like I said, I had a note in my notes, just page 551. It's almost a full page of text, and it's just that scene of Egwene walking back and like all the scraping of the chairs and everyone standing for her and stuff. I won't say to a man, but like to a person, right? Like every single novice does.
Yes.
It's not like there's still some naysayers or anything. And earlier, Phil, you mentioned this, but like she noticed a change in the novices' attitude towards her on day 2 of her captivity. You know, like it's like early days. They were like,
but it
oh,
was
shit,
that was
this chick is not fucking around.
that was kind of like, okay, we've got a rebel in our midst, and let's try and intimidate her and see if this is how this. And it's very quickly like, whoa, we tried to pull this rebellion streak, and it was slipped out of us within.
She ties them up in logic knots immediately.
Done.
Oh, you want other people to lie for you, but you want to be an Aes Sedai. So does that seem inconsistent to you? Who are you to lecture me? I am the Amerlin seat.
You bow
Shut
for me.
up and sit down. How
Well,
about you, Joe?
That scene? I mean, there was no other. There was no other choice. I can go into a little bit more detail about the points that I liked. I touched on Elaida not like her distancing herself, leaving a gap for Egwene, but also like there's so few accepted in the tower, so that leaves a gap for her again.
Yes.
The Aes Sedai have all that tension in the tower against the Argers. They're not paying attention either, which leaves another gap for her, like where she has to comfort and literally wipe the tears off a novice's face and dry her tears and chat with her and calm them down. Like all the little things she does to get to that moment where they all stand up. And
it's incredible that it feels earned in
Yes.
such a short period of time, like on the pages, right?
She doesn't have to do. There's nothing like she doesn't have
she
to fight
does.
to get into those positions.
Yes,
they are
no.
open, and she just
Yes.
she sees them and takes advantage.
She's just filling the void, yeah.
She's filling a void that's the Aes Sedai's own fault. They are letting her take over.
Yeah.
The void of leadership. It allows something to be sucked in to place. And she just always made
those
sure
kids
that
are
she
scared.
was fluid enough to
Yeah.
get sucked into every single one of those voids. And just, cool. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, starting closest bit to you.
Like to put a cherry on top, like the novices are actually breaking rules for Egwene, not because Egwene asked them to, but because they are like desperately trying to show her, okay, we're buying into this. Like the honey in the tea, that's only reserved for Aes Sedai. Standing up for her, that's only reserved for Aes Sedai. Like they're taking risks, you know, like breaking rules to show unity with her, which is just, man, makes my heart sing.
She's just being herself as well, and all these situations are just presented to her. She's like, all right.
It comes so naturally to her.
Yeah. You don't want to lead these novices? I'll lead them. You don't want to comfort them? I'll comfort
She's
them.
had some good coaches, hey? Swan, Amis, the other wise ones that coached her, Melaine and Bear and, Soralia. And, like it's, some good role models. Started with Moraine even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not forget where she's coming from. Respect to every woman that came before her.
Okay, so mine, like I said multiple times in this episode now, is the entire chapter. I won't expound on that any further. We have given each little moment. Maybe if I had to pick one, it's just the one we laughed at the most. And just recently is like giving the cup back to Catherine and walking off just because of who Catherine is. And like, I've got some honorable mentions though. Narishma telling the Aes Sedai about Ibn Hoppel and dying for his Aes Sedai and making them remember his name. His name was Ibn Hoppel.
Yeah.
That was very cool. And the fact that Romanda figures out Halima's lie. Like, Cabriana Macandes.
Oh, shit.
That's who Halima says she was friends with. And now Cabriana's 2 close friends are dead. And she makes that link. And finally, we can be rid of that fucking Forsaken.
Oh, yes. Forsaken was uncovered. That happened too.
Huge. Yes. In these 3 short chapters. We've got, like I said, a favorite moment from Levi and Marlene, but both of them are from the next episode. But what we also have is Matt's voice note for his favorite moment, and that goes a little something like this.
Hi guys, it's Matt. I forgot to mention my favorite part of these chapters in the note that I left. I know it's cliche, but it was all of the Matt chapter. Everything about it. But mostly him and Tuon and the kiss, and him thinking he's done enough when clearly he hasn't, and then needing to go back for more, much like everything else he does. Anyway, keep up the good work, guys. Bye.
Thanks, Matt. Matt doing a classic Blood and Ashes move, which just goes, the whole Matt section is my favorite. How many times have we said that?
I mean, you can't discredit that Matt.
No.
And it's not a very big Matt section. It's just the start off to their direction and the troubles that they're going to face. A kiss and a snake. That's really it.
But it's just
it's still
so
good.
Quintessential Matt as well. The whole, it's not even a full chapter, and it's just like displaying all of Matt's properties. The fact that he gave Petra the money so that they can get the inn sooner. The fact that he let the snake go. That he's stubborn about getting healed for his wounds. He's got a bit of a fever. He is actually really unwell. And then how he tries to manipulate Vannon, by stroking his ego. They said you can find a pass through the mountains in the rain with a blindfold or something like that. And it's just that's all Matt
If you
stuff.
had
Matt
lumped this in with any other chapters, it would by far be the thing that we went on forever. But it's just lumped in with one of the iconic chapters of the series. And
that's what it is for me, certainly.
A tough thing to do.
It is.
It's
a bar to clear.
It's a very high bar.
Yeah. Alrighty then, to our listeners, send us your favorite moments, your thoughts or your theories, corrections, or just say hi. You can do all of that using the social media links in the episode description, or just go to our website at bloodandashespodcast.com, where you can leave either a text or a voice message, with the latter getting spliced into our episodes. When you've sent in a message, please rate and review the podcast on your favorite podcast app, and when you've done all of that, you can pick up Knife of Dreams once more to prepare for next time on Blood and Ashes, where we will cover chapters 26 through 28. Another 3-chapter sesh.
I guess I'm doing the heavy lifting next time.
In my original allocation, I still had it for Joe, which seems unfair, but it's usually based on how many pages there are. So maybe what I'll do is I'll recount those pages across the 6 chapters and make sure that across the 2 episodes, you guys have a similar workload.
I think you should give me the fun chapters, the nice ones, the ones that don't include sea folk and the, Elaida, specifically Elaida.
Well, there's cool stuff. The names of these chapters are As If the World Were Fog. I don't remember exactly what that one is, but is it the fog rising outside of Malden?
No, that's later. I was just reading that yesterday, day before.
Okay. The second one is A Plain Wooden Box.
Somebody found a wooden box, I can't remember, and said, this looked like it was important, so I brought it. That's what I remember. All the
Jody
play wooden
guessing,
boxes.
throwing things.
No, seriously, that's the other chapter. Somebody snuck in somewhere, saw a box, and took it.
Okay.
Isn't it where
don't know
Dale
who,
gets
where,
the
when.
Oath Rod? The Oath Rod gets
maybe.
stolen by the two guys that ran
Hasn't
away.
she stolen that already?
Oh, that's already happened.
Okay.
I forget now because I've read it all.
We've all read ahead, so
I
it
never
might
studied
not
the
have
chapter
happened yet.
names. I should maybe do that.
Well, the last one in this little triplet is in Malden.
Yeah.
So,
There we go.
shit's happening. All right. Well, until we get to all that loveliness and the resolution of Perrin's long trek through the snow, trudging all the way to rescue his wife, I will leave you all with this message, I guess, which is sleep well and wake.
Walk in the light, everyone.
Well, all light casts shadow.
Perfect.